And we are live. Hello everyone. AmyR here. Prairie Paper and Ink. Face, Craft Space, live, unscripted, unfiltered. Unpaid intern is here.
Yo.
He only had one day off.
Yep.
For his little play date. And I am tired. That's just my complete state of being. I have something planned out. We'll see. I am not setting any expectations on myself. I have everything listed and linked that I do plan to use, like always, below the video. Also in the live chat, wherever. We'll see. Brain is just like flatlined at this point, as per usual. But hello. And
Did we turn the bat light on?
No, because I'm not doing Halloween.
Oh.
Not Halloween for this live, but
I'm sure one will come up sooner or later.
I've already done two Halloween lives this month. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I've posted many Halloween cards. There will be many more. But I do try to mix it up a little bit because, yeah, it is what it is. Plus, I wanted to finally use the some of the Tim Holtz sets, which again are not Halloween, because his Halloween release of stamp sets was yesterday. I don't have them. I honestly am not even sure if I'm going to be able to get them because they've been selling out and they're not easy to find. So we'll see. We'll see about all of that, but all the good things. This was from the last. Actually, let me switch the camera down. This was from the last Stampers Anonymous release, which was couple months ago, a month or two ago. It wasn't that long ago anyway. This is the French Garden stamp set. This does have a coordinating die set. Simon Says Stamp, for those that aren't aware or are new or just aren't familiar with all the ins and outs when it comes to Tim Holtz stamp sets. He has his stamp sets made by Stampers Anonymous. His stamp sets are red rubber on cling foam. There technically are not coordinating dies. Until the end of last year, Simon Says Stamp has stepped up and started doing coordinating wafer dies for a lot of his stamp sets. And they're slowly going back and releasing some of the popular ones as well. So that's what they did last year. There have been a couple of releases. And then this release, there were several sets. And yeah, coordinating die sets, which I've already snipped apart. I have links to the die sets that are currently available from Simon Says Stamp, as well as they have the bundles so you can get the stamp and die set, etc. So that's super fun because most of us are very well aware if we don't have to fussy cut, why would we? I don't mind doing it if I have to, you know, but if there's a die set, I'm going to do the dies. So, yeah. So yeah, hello to everybody. And yeah. So he had an amazing live yesterday. Like I always say, it's worth checking out. The inspiration was absolutely ridiculous. It really was. I was sketching ideas as I was watching because I've got ideas for other cards. And then yeah, his stamps and everything are available now at Simon Says Stamp. The coordinating wafer dies that Simon does that they did for his Halloween release, those aren't even going to begin shipping till mid-September. So we shall see. I will be trying to get my hands on it, but I didn't place an order quick enough, so several things have sold out, which just annoys me. But yeah, Stamptember's coming. We can talk about Stamptember at the end of the live because like I said, my brain is mush. And let's just maybe start making some things and maybe that'll get my brain to not be so mushy, you know? Yeah, let's do that. So this is the plan. We're going to use this set. Got a sentiment set and a very oldie but goodie stencil that I have used more times than I can count. I honestly don't know. The Spring BOHO Circle. I think I'm going to incorporate that into my background. That's the plan. That is the plan. So, yeah, let's just see what happens. I have no idea. I have a rough idea in my head. I picked out some colors. There we go. And then, yeah, Oxide inks. This is going to be my color palette. I picked colors that I'm always drawn towards. You know, some of my faves. These are all favorites. Really, all colors are always a favorite. A note about colors, because I do get asked this a lot. People message me, etc. I do not recommend colors to people ever. I just don't. I know it can be very overwhelming for people that are newer or wanting to try a different like incline cardstock, whatever it is. I don't recommend colors because color is subjective, and you know what my favorite color is not what the next person's favorite color is. And me, I jump around always. You know, like still have my like set faves, but it's subjective. Pick a handful of ones that you like and go from there. That's how I kind of do the thing. I've been amazed at all the videos you've been putting out. It's what I do. It's how I pay the bills. Don't really have a choice. And there will be a lot. That's also why the brain is like flatlined at this point. From now until technically the end of the year, but from now specifically till the end of September, I will have a massive amount of content. Generally, sometimes 2 videos a day, depending. It's just what I do, and that is my Christmas budget. That's why I do what I do, because this helps fund the buy my kids Christmas presents. So yeah, I will have lots and lots of content and ideas and inspiration coming. I will probably even have another video coming up this evening after the live. So that's just what I do. I know Amy's happy. Yeah, he didn't go anywhere. He was upstairs that whole time last week. Yeah. He was just playing video games with his friends. So, and I handled my live like I do, you know. But it is nicer when he's around to help sort of moderate and stuff, because then I'm not constantly jumping back and forth with all the things. Okay. Let's just see what happens here. Right now I just have regular Simon Says stamp smooth white cardstock. I didn't even grab like watercolor paper or anything. We're just like I said, we're just gonna see what happens. Usually if I do ink smushy type things, I work on like heavy stock or watercolor paper, etc. But I grabbed this, and this is what we're gonna go with. And then this is just a stamp sleeve. I do have them linked. They come in packs of 50. I use these to store. In fact, I need to grab another one. I use these to store my like regular size stamps and dies, etc. Like that. However, something flexible makes for some controlled ink smushing. Because usually when I'm doing ink smushing, I've got my craft mat. Like I always say, surface matters. It does. If you're to, in fact, I can show it on here. I'll do it in this color. If you try ink smushing on glass, it's not going to bead up. So you put a little bit of ink, and then if I was to spray this with water, it turns into a puddle. It doesn't bead up like it does on a like nonstick craft sheet, etc. So that's what I mean by surface matters. Not like that's the end of the world. Just depends on the look you're going for. But it beads up a little bit more on here, and then the nonstick craft sheet is kind of my gold standard for that sort of a thing. Let's actually make sure that I get all the ink off of the glass so that I'm not getting it where I don't want it. Good enough. Okay, so and then let's just start with Salvaged Patina. I might make 2 cards today. We'll see. I grabbed 2 card fronts. And see? Beading. That's what I'm talking about. So yes. Oop, man, who cares? Who cares? We're just going to go with it. because that's the whole thing with ink smushing, is have fun with it. Try not to overthink it. Try not to be too much of a control freak. You know? Even what's left on the work surface. Why not? Why not? We're just gonna experiment. There we go. There we go. Do you use hammer mill cardstock? Not very often. I have it. It does foil very nicely, but I don't work on hammer mill very often. I honestly, 99% of the time, when I'm using just white cardstock, it's the Simon Says Stamp Smooth White, because I started using this however many years ago, and I really like it. I use it for all my card bases, and yeah. So it's not meant, again, for water, like lots of layers of watery techniques and stuff, but I think I'm going to be able to manage some things. We'll see. Where's my cloth? There's my cloth, and I dropped things. Good job, Amy.
Can you pick them up?
No, I'll deal with it later. I'm tired. I'm tired. My brain is just like, no. No. So, still got some ink on here. Let's just, you know, why not? Why not? Okay. We got that so far. And then, there we go. Did not sure what you're referring to, Lala. You didn't know what. I don't know. Did I say something inspiring?
I'm always inspired.
You're also a bit of a kiss ass, so say it like it is, man. Anyway, reasons why I keep them around, people. There are reasons.
I'm a really good teacher's pet.
You are a good teacher's pet. Got a little bit of blue. We'll add a little bit of green. Kind of not really smush. I'm not pressing deep right at the moment, so I'm not getting a ton of ink on my little thinger. Just again, just cause. We'll just, like I said, we'll just see what happens, you know? Get some little inky bits going on here, because we can. I think I might go back in with a bit more of the Salvaged Patina. I told you guys, my brain is just not wanting to play today. But usually once I start getting into the groove, it won't be so bad. And the other reason I love ink smushing so much is you can literally do like more than one at a time, and they're never going to look the same. Ever. Because it's just not how it works, you know? So that's always fun. Okay. Yes, sprays are much less control even than ink smushing. I like sprays too. I didn't pull those out today. Not like I need to pull them out. They're all on the wall behind me. But sprays they're fun. I encourage people to try ink smushing, play around, get couple sprays, play around with them, like free up the control. Things do not need to be perfect. They don't it is fun. And trust me, it is fun. This is also coming from a control freak. I will admit it, you know? But it's freeing. It really is. I love it. I need more Salvaged Patina on these backgrounds. It's just what I want. It's what I want. Have Chris give you some of his M&Ms. I ate them all already.
We're out.
There's a few left, but they're upstairs. I was snacking on them the other night, and I think there's like a dozen left. So, need to buy more.
Yeah.
They're on the list.
There's a Costco one tomorrow.
Is that what we're doing? Is Costco tomorrow?
Yeah.
Fun. Or you are most likely going to be doing the. In fact, it will have to be you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll have to be me.
Yeah.
It'll be
'Cause-
your credit card though.
Thanks. Thanks. I know it's my turn. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, you can go pick up more M&Ms and all the things. Okay. We're just going to keep mucking around a bit because I want a bit more color on these backgrounds. You know, just kind of move it around. So what I said about Control Freak, the whole point of using something like this, it does give you a bit more control because you're able to kind of see where you're placing, but at the same time, again, just let it go, you know? Let it go, man. It is freeing to just sit and play and do the things. And if you end up hating it, if the background ends up being a literal hot mess, stick with it, walk away from it, and then later die cut it. You know, use the pieces because you can generally salvage just about anything. Most things are doable and fixable or usable or whatever. I do encourage people just have a play. It's fun. Ooh, there's still more splotchy bits on here that will look good right there. Love it. Love it. There we go. So we got mucky bits. I think I'm going to have to stop here because this cardstock is getting really saturated. And again, this is just plain white cardstock. There's no, you know, with watercolor paper, distress heavy stock, they can handle a bit more. Like you can really go to town, but so far so good. Now there we go. There we go. My comments. I have to go to Costco tomorrow too. I'm not looking forward to it. Our Costco is always crazy. So is ours.
Yep.
It is an absolute nightmare. And I more often than not hate it. Some days it's not so bad, and then other days it takes everything in my power not to end up in jail while I'm there because people are biggest pet peeve when you run into a friend at Costco, maybe pull over to the side so you can stop and chat about your entire bloody life. Like, why do you need 3 carts and to block like all
Thoroughfare.
hugest pet peeve? Why do people do that? Always.
It always seems to happen at the entrance of the freezer for one reason or another. Or in the
Oh,
food
it's
area.
always, it's everywhere. Every time I'm there, it's like people just, and I always, because you see them, they're like, hey, and the minute I see that, I walk faster to immediately get by them before they can, like, because yeah, they just like leave their carts and they're hugging and all these things, and it's like, and you can overhear their whole conversation. It's like, you saw those people yesterday. Knock it off. Like, just go, again, have a play date. Go for coffee somewhere. Like, stop it. People are trying to shop. Wham.
Most of us are like, want
like
to get
just-
in and out as
yeah,
quickly
it's just
as possible.
get in, get out. It's a painful experience.
Yeah.
Groceries are expensive. I don't want to be here anyway.
And
It's
then we
just
have to go sit in the gas line for 20 minutes.
yes, all the things. It has become just crazy. Anyway, there's my rant about Costco. So we got this so far. I got that. I think, and actually I'm fine with it still being wet. I don't even need to dry it. Like I said, I'm gonna experiment. I'm gonna take a little stamp from the French Garden stamp set and some darker ink. And sorry guys, I'm like not paying attention to chat. I bought dragon scales from Mooncat. For a second when you said dragon scales, I was like, what are you talking about? Mooncat nail polish. The color shift is mesmerizing. I know. I haven't painted my nails. I haven't had time. It's like literally bugging me. This is the first time my nails have been naked in well over a year now. I have been very good at painting my nails, but like I don't have time. I'll get to it. So the only thing that sucks is like I don't mind getting ink on my hands, but with my naked nails, some of these, like I'm yesterday or the day before, a couple days ago, I was mucking around with inks and it was like tinting everything yellow, you know, like smoker's nails, and I was like, gross. I look diseased. Wham.
So much beta carotene.
So much, but gave my hands a good scrub and then we're good. But it's like, don't look at them. They're ugly. Anyway. Hello, Chasey from New Zealand. Okay. We also need to go to Costco. We always spend more money than we expect to. Truth. Every Costco trip's on mortgage payment, basically. It's rare. Although there have been a few times. Chris is better than I am. That's why I like when he just goes, because I get distracted. You know, it's like, ooh, this is new. Add to cart. Meh. And then it ends up being a mortgage payment. But Chris is better about just like, do you wear your headphones in there?
Yes, absolutely.
He literally goes in with his big noise canceling headphones and just like, give him the list and he just,
business when I'm
oh yeah, he gets the list, gets the things, gets out, comes home. Like it takes me 5 times longer because I go up and down every aisle. You never know what little treasures you're going to find, all that kind of stuff. I don't have time for it. But when I do go, yeah, I have to see everything, touch everything.
I'm also playing the loudest, angriest, like Norwegian death metal I can play.
Norwegian death metal scene.
When I'm at Costco, and that's the only time I play at.
That's hilarious. I can't wear my big noise canceling headphones in public. Every time someone looks at me, I feel like an idiot.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
I know it doesn't bother you at all, but I don't like people looking at me. But even though I should wear them, because if I wear my little ear pods, then people always try to talk to me because if my hair's done, you can't see that I have headphones in.
If I don't wear that, the people start asking me those strange questions in the parking lot, like that one time I bought that mattress.
Yeah, truth. I don't blame him for wearing his headphones. There have been weird interactions. We are not even going to discuss that one. That one really made me mad. Like, some people are gross and weird. Anyway, okay. I wish I could do that to help my anxiety. Yes. Yeah, no, headphones, you guys. Chris does that frequently. And yeah, I just need to get over myself and start wearing my big ones. Because yeah, when I wear my little tiny like AirPods, people don't notice. And then they're talking to me. And I've had a couple of people get legit upset with me and I didn't realize, and it was because they were talking to me and I had headphones in, and I'm just doing I'm not paying attention. So yeah, I should wear I have the big ones. I have good ones. But they're very obvious. Anyway. Okay. So I got this. We don't have Trader Joe's here. I kind of wish we did because I keep hearing good things. I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to card making. I got distracted as usual. I'm not even putting this on a block. I don't care. I'm just gonna stamp it, man. Because, this is what we can do. See? We're just gonna add some leaves to the background. This is mixed media, Not something I do very often, but I do like it. And it doesn't need to be perfect. So, yeah, look at me being just wild and free and crazy, whatevs. My husband has a list arranged back to front. Honestly, I used to have to do that with Chris, like be very, very specific. I still do sometimes with certain things.
Sure.
But yeah, with Costco, we're there so often. We know where everything is until they move stuff around. That's my other pet peeve, when they start moving stuff around on me, and I'm like, come on, man, seriously, like, stop it. The joys of retail shopping. Yeah, I know they were moving things around a lot last.
They redesigned the whole bakery
area. Boo. I knew they were going to do that, though. It's annoying. I don't like when they do that. Stop it. Stop it. Okay. Love it. So we got that. This was Rustic Wilderness, by the way. Let me wipe this little stamp off for the moment. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's literally our lives. Like I work 7 days a week. Chris works full time and then some, and then grocery runs. that's about that's the excitement in our life. That's how we roll. Okay, so there's my background so far. You know, just not bad. It's working. It's working. And then, like I said, the BOHO stencil. We're gonna. I was like, where's my okay? Crackle paste. Crackle paste. I think they move items to clean. Kind of. No, they move it on purpose because if you got to mix up stuff, especially in grocery stores, they got to move things around to entice people to look around more. That's also like the whole the psychology behind like retail shopping and specifically grocery stores and why they purposely separate. Like when you first enter, it's usually like baked goods, etc. That's on like average grocery stores because of the smell is enticing. Milk products are in the very back corner. Meat products are on the complete opposite end from that because they're trying to get you to walk through the entire store and buy things that you don't need. Fascinating. Anyway, the joys. And then, yeah, Costco and all their baloney is what it is. Crackle paste. If you've never worked with crackle paste, it's super fun. It will crackle. Wow. Shocker.
Like the Rice Krispie character?
No, it'll just crackle. We're just gonna add some crackle paste. It will crackle as it dries, which is always fun. So we're just gonna add some crackle paste. I'm not using a mat because I just don't care. And it will show up more as it dries. And like I always say with paste, use your paste. Do not hoard them. Pastes have a shelf life. It is just the nature of these products. They are not meant to last forever. They literally cannot last forever because of how they are formulated. So we're just going to go like this because I think I'm going to keep these full size. And then we got to let it dry. But yeah, paste will dry out. Paste will, even if you keep them factory sealed, they can dry out in the package. And I do highly recommend press and seal, which I don't have on this one yet, but I'm going to put some on here. That does help to extend the life of your paste, but even then, it will not last forever. And you don't need 5 bajillion pastes because unless you're using it all the time, you don't need every color, you don't need every kind, yada yada yada. Like, just is what it is. So yeah, use them. And if you have pastes that have been sitting for a long time in a drawer somewhere that you haven't looked at, pull them out, take a look. Some pastes will last a ridiculous. Like I have had some pastes that have lasted for years, but it's just a dumb fluke. If they have glitter in them, formulas that have glitter in them, those ones will dry out to solid little bricks and there is no reviving them. Again, it has to do with the formulas. So just use them. Use your stuff. Don't hoard it. We can hoard other things. We can hoard the stamps and the dyes and the paper, stuff that isn't going to go bad or dry out, but other things like this, use it. Use your paste. Boop, boop. Okay, let me put this in water. I'm like making a really big mess here. That's fine though. Okay. Question, just interested. Who does most of the cooking? Chris does.
Yep.
He he took over a lot of the
day-to-day.
The day-to-day stuff when I started working more, when everything changed and the cost of living started going through the roof. So I started working more because the joys of being self-employed. I definitely have to clean up this mess. The joys of being self-employed and not having like benefits or retirement or anything like that. And on top of it, being as a content creator, if I'm not putting out content, I'm not getting paid. Love that. It's so fun. So I started working more and he started taking over the day-to-day. So yeah, he does a lot while I'm in here editing and yelling at technology and fighting with the poltergeist. So yeah, it's
technology is winning the argument.
Technology generally always wins. We must appease the robot overlords always. Hopefully they will treat us nice when they take over. Yep. Okay. So my paste. Again, it always depends too. It depends on the brand, all the things. That's why I say just check your paste, do the things, seal them up, press and seal. It is the best. You can use regular cling wrap. It's not as good. Again, for those that might not be aware, press and seal was actually invented by Jennifer McGuire's husband. He used to work for Procter & Gamble, and then Procter & Gamble sold the rights to Glad. I think that's basically how it all works. But yeah, he invented it, and then it became a crafter's staple. And I keep a roll of it here in my craft room because it not just for sealing paste. There's all kinds of little tricks. You can use it for holding die cuts, and there's all kinds of things you can do. Highly recommend it. I do have a link to it just because for those not in North America, this is really difficult to come by. For those of us in North America, we can get it at the grocery store. But yeah, and it's just great because yeah, you seal your paste. If you really want to protect it, you can press it down really, really well. Remove all the air, almost like you're treating a ganache, those sorts of things, when you're baking and you need that and you don't want it to develop a skin. You can press out all the air before you seal it up. I don't do that for hardly ever. But this, having it really good and sealed, it does extend the life of your paste. So now mine's sealed. It doesn't look as pretty. I don't care. Did I miss something? My comments are just, oh, thank you, Susie. Thank you for the super chat. I very much appreciate it. So yeah. Yes, Chris is fabulous. He is. But, don't let it get to his head, people.
I'm trying to stay humble.
Yeah, stay humble, man. Our next project at some point, he does not bake.
No.
At all. That is my thing, which I have time for. I don't have time. But yeah, Chris can handle the cooking, but he doesn't bake, and he wants to learn more. I just I don't have time. Where? But he will eventually, because I do enjoy. I don't mind cooking when it's him and me, but he thankfully, well, for the most part, you've been doing it long enough now that he feels the frustration that, that just sucks the joy out of cooking when you cook a meal and then everyone's like, I don't like it. Yeah. Yeah. Loads of fun. Just.
So what do you want?
Yeah.
Ramen.
Yeah. Craft dinner. Wow. Even that the kids barely like anymore. Anyway, but baking is a whole, because man, when was the last time I ever baked something and people are like, I don't like it. But then I haven't baked them forever. Anywho. Back to what we were doing. Okay. Do you buy the Kirkland brand baby wipes? Yes.
Oh yeah.
That is because people ask about that. These are the ones I use. I use them to clean my stamps. use them in the house. You know, you buy them by the case. I think you can technically get them off Amazon if you don't have a like Costco membership. These are just holy grail best baby wipes. And trust me, I know. I have tried every brand of baby wipes on the market. I've had many children. I've tried them all. These were, yeah, don't flush them ever. And don't even get me started on flushable wipes. That's a load of crap. Don't. Seriously, people. You will ruin your plumbing. The reason I like these ones, they're Tencel, so they're plant-based, alcohol-free, obviously. I don't even know if they make baby wipes with alcohol in them anymore. I guess way back in the day they used to, which I can't even imagine. That's harsh. But yeah, Costco ones. Buy them by the case, and they're awesome. And I use them to clean things. I use them to clean my stamps, wipe myself off, all of it. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I missed. There was something else. I just froze peaches for peach pie and peach cobbler later in the season. Man, peaches up here are insanely expensive. I used to can like peaches and pears. I haven't done canning in years. I did that one batch, but it wasn't peaches. That was a few years ago. I made it was Saskatoon berry syrup. Right. Yes. I got a couple pails of Saskatoon berries, which those that aren't familiar, they're similar to blueberries. A little more purple, a little different. But I got pails of Saskatoon berries and I made Saskatoon berry syrup. Like basically like simple syrup. They're close to huckleberries. Similar to huckleberries, yeah. Anyway, I made syrup and I canned that because Saskatoon berry lemonade is amazing. But that was years ago. Canning things, haven't had the time. And yeah, peaches are stupid expensive up here now. So yeah, fun. Anyway.
Watermelons are terribly expensive.
Yeah, watermelons are also my jaw was on the floor even at Costco because we buy most of our produce and stuff at Costco because we have to buy in large amounts. And a watermelon up here is like $15 now. Yeah. Not fun, man. Okay. I've been growing my starter and finally baking my first loaf of sourdough bread. I need to get a starter.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
We can technically do it ourselves. It's a major science experiment to actually get your own, like to start it yourself, like invent it. Usually you get it from someone, you know,
yes.
And then you add to it. But
remember when those were going around during the pandemic?
Oh, I know. It became like such an insane thing.
Yes.
Everyone was baking bread and then you couldn't get flour for the life of you. And like everyone all of a sudden was like baking bread, it's a good thing to learn. I haven't made bread Chris has never had any of my homemade bread. I haven't made bread in 20 years. Anyway. Okay. I missed. Oh, reinkers. That's what we're talking. Okay. What are your thoughts on Distress Oxide and reinkers? Do they have a shelf life? I'm kind of new to oxides. That, when I talk about things having a shelf life, stuff like paste, again, the pastes are unique in that sense because it is. It's just the way they're formula, and it's not like the brands that make them are like trying to rip people off or anything like that. It's just there's this weird tendency to like you need every single color and 30 plus different types of paste, and you don't, and use them. They will dry out, especially the specialty ones. Like ones like I don't usually have an issue with our basic translucent and opaques, the crackles, etc. These generally will last quite a long time. And some of them, again, I've had for years. But also it's just dumb luck that they're still working. Glitter paste, specialty paste, those ones that have it's a different formulation and they will literally see it like solidify. And you'll know because it'll be like rock solid. You won't be able to get the lid off and it's just a brick, a literal brick. So use your paste. Things like inks are different. They already have properties in them, like they have glycerin and different things in them so that they don't dry out. Because otherwise, it's like you're using your ink pad and like I have accidentally left an ink pad open overnight. I don't recommend doing that again. But it's fine, because they have things in it to prevent it from drying out. Because that would really suck if you had an ink pad and a week later it was dried out, Again, I can't speak to all formulas because now we have a million. But ink pads generally should last for years. I don't know how long I've had these since they were released. I don't remember when oxides first started being released. There's a Tim Holtz did a like flow chart on his website because this is like 20 years of distress, not oxide, but like just distress in general. Because 20 years ago is when he released his first distress ink. Oxides came out like however many years ago. It's been many years. They're fine, you know. And the re-inkers, I don't have a problem with. They will technically last for years, within reason. But same thing. I wouldn't purchase inks with the plan of say like, oh, like intent, like maybe someday I'll have a chance to use them. It's like, use them, you know. But they will last a long time. They're not going to dry out. Mine have been fine. I've re-inked several. Some I haven't re-inked yet, and I've had them since I got them many years ago, and they're fine. Okay. The Saskatoon berries taste like blueberries. No, they're
tart.
They're more tart. I find blueberries to be quite mild, you know. Saskatoon berries are much more flavorful. And they're very tart. Like when I made my Saskatoon berry syrup, I just like Googled some random online recipe and just followed it. But you have to add a fair bit of sugar to it. And yeah, it was a messy process. It's loads of fun. I need to do it again. Anyway, yeah, glitter paste. I love glitter paste. I love them. Use them. Again, they'll dry out. Okay, back to see it's already starting to crackle. See right there? As this dries, it's going to crackle. So that's gonna be fun. Yeah, I chose opaque crackle. Good. Translucent crackle's fun too, but I didn't want the translucent. And this one's starting to crackle too. See? There. We're getting some crackling. So, yeah, that's what Chris said earlier. I guess Saskatoon berries are similar to huckleberries. I honestly don't know if I've ever had a huckleberry in my life. But it is...
I'm a huckleberry.
Chris is my huckleberry. You're a dork. Yup. Okay. Now I'm working with watercolor paper because we're going to do some watercoloring. So I got Distress, Watercolor, Cardstock. Any watercolor paper is going to work. This is just what happens to be sitting right beside me. So we're going to use that. And because I'm going to be stamping with red rubber cling foam, I need to take my grip mat out of my Misty so that I have space, which I don't have. I have no space. And then I'm going to use this big old gorgeous peony image because it's beautiful. It was the first one that as soon as I saw it, I was like, yup, need that in my life. So we'll just kind of line that up. Doesn't need to be perfect because I am going to die cut it with the coordinating wafer die, obviously. But before I do that, okay. There we go. And then Google says February of 2004. Is that when oxides were released? Has it been 10 years? Crazy. So I've had my oxides longer than I've had the unpaid intern. So yeah, they last a very long time. These ink pads are some of them because they didn't release all the colors at once. But the OG ones, I've had them since. I'm pretty sure I got them when they were released. Like I purchased them, and yeah, so some of my ink pads are 10 years old, and they work just fine. Just fine. Anti-static powder. That's what I'm using right now. This just helps prevent the embossing powder from sticking, although at the same time I'm not too concerned about it because again I'm going to die cut this, but it's habit. So anti-static powder on the watercolor, and I am stamping on the smooth side of this watercolor paper because these images are very detailed, so keep that in the corner. It would help if I had my ink pad. Where It would help if I had my ink pad. Where did it go? There it is. I found it. We're good. We're good. Doo, doo, doo. There we go. Oops, knocking things over. Nothing else new. Okay. I'm just now collecting the distress oxides. Yeah, that's what I did. I've done that with everything. You know, while I have a ton of, like, I have all the colors of oxides, I have all the colors of distress ink, all the sprays, you know, all the things. I did not, like, get all of that at once. That is an insane investment. And you don't need all the colors either. You don't. I do because I'm crazy. But choose colors you like. But I just did like a few at a time because, yeah, it is a hefty investment. So we're going to stamp this with VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, just like so. Let's ink that up. Stamp it really well. Beautiful. Beautiful. Love it. Then you don't have to heat emboss this. You don't have to. Did I get clear? Yeah, clear embossing powder. It's habit for me. Plus, because I'm going to watercolor this with Distress Oxide inks, that's another reason why I do like to heat emboss whatever image I'm stamping, because the heat embossing will resist the Oxide ink, because oxides have pigment in them. Pigment sits on top of everything else. Just going to sit that there for a second. We're going to do it a second time. I'm still using the Adirondack pads and because, yeah, Adirondack has been around for forever. It's been around for millennia. Okay. Doing this a second time. Where's the lid? The lid. The lid. There we go. We're good. Boop. Okay. Yeah, isn't the detail just chef's kiss? Chef's kiss. It's amazing and we love it. There we go. Okay, I'm going to melt that in a second, but before I do that, I'm going to clean off this stamp because I might be stamping this on the inside of the card with a lighter color. That's usually what I do. We shall see. So again, baby wipes for the win. It would help if I didn't have chunks of paste embedded in them. Good job, Amy. Good job. Good job. The oxides are fun. I really like them. And that's another thing I do get asked. Where is my... There it is. Like, do I recommend oxides or just regular distress inks? Kind of apples to oranges. The only similarity, obviously, is the color. But even that varies between the two brands. But yeah, for things like watercoloring and stuff, love my oxides. Love them. Okay, gotta heat emboss these. Do you still use your Copics or do you prefer Olo? I will still use my Copics. I spent a lot of money on them and they are really good. I haven't used them in a while. I do love the Olos. No one needs both. Make sure everything is smooth and shiny. There we go. I spoke too soon. There we go. There we go. Fabulous. Fabulous. And yes, when I first started stamping, there was like no options. Nothing. And I still remember someone gifted me, and I still have them in a drawer somewhere, distress inks. This was like over 15 years ago. Well over that, closer to 20. And they'd given me, it was like black soot, walnut stain, a vintage photo, like the original, I think, and possibly antique land, like 4 distress ink pads. And I remember trying to stamp with the black soot distress ink pad because I had never heard of them before. I think I'd heard of them, but I had no clue what they meant, like what they were for, what they were meant for. And I remember trying to stamp with the black one, and I was so annoyed with it because it didn't stamp crisply. And back then, we didn't have stamping platforms either; those didn't exist. You got one chance, you know. And I was like, "What is I?" And I was annoyed by that ink. And I just remember shoving them in the back of a drawer, and I didn't touch them for years until many years later I learned what those inks were formulated for, you know, and all the techniques and all the things. And black soot is now one of my favorite inks. And distress paint and oxide. I love black soot. But yeah, learning what things are meant for is a good thing. So now we're going to watercolor these, which let me zoom in a little bit.
Oh yeah, watercoloring time.
Watercolor. I'm gonna use my little Tim Holtz detail watercolor water brush. Same thing. I've had this thing for like I think 10 years now, possibly longer, and it's almost empty. So give me a second. Let me get the top off and quickly add a bit more water to it. I do keep distilled. Again, my brain. I was like, distilled water in my water brush. Same with my spray bottles. We've talked about this in other lives. When I'm actually like watercoloring with a water brush, I have my big old jar of the forbidden water. That's just tap water. Because I get people ask me about the distilled water because they're like, do you need that for watercoloring? No. The only reason I keep distilled water in these is because they sit for years, months, years. Same with my spray bottles. They sit with water in them. And if you don't use distilled water in it, it's not the end of the world. They'll turn yellow over time. And I don't know where it is. I've talked about this. I have a distress sprayer somewhere around here, an old one that I used to keep just tap water in, and the bottle has turned yellow. It's ugly. Works fine. It's fine. But that's why I keep the distilled water around. It just keeps things from looking gross. But it's not a big deal, you know, because water evaporates. Whatever you watercolor with, inky techniques, spray, all that stuff, the water is going to evaporate. So who cares? We're not, again, don't lick the artwork, you know? If it's looking old and weird and whatever, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, a jug of distilled water is cheap. I use it to refill my things, and that's what we do. Okay. The Stampin' Yes. Stampin' was kind of the first stamp positioner doohickey, and that worked okay within reason until the Misty was invented, and that's what changed the game big time. Big time. Okay. So we've got that. And then for the colors, like I said, I picked out a favorite. So I've got some picked raspberry, and a little bit of Seedless preserves. We'll do that. And then the same peeled paint and Rustic Wilderness that we used to make the mucky backgrounds. So we'll go with that. And I forgot to grab a color for the stamens and flower centers. Good job, Amy. We'll just use... Okay, we'll use Rusty Hinge. I didn't link to that, but it just is what it is. So we'll add a bit of Rusty Hinge for the flower centers. Okay. I have a yellow distress water bottle. Didn't know anywhere. It's not a big deal. It's not. It looks icky. Give me a sec. Mine grew legs and walked away.
Did it?
Yep. I don't know where it went. It's around here again. It's around here somewhere. I just don't know where. So whatever, because I would show it. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know where it went. I'm not too concerned about it though, because yeah, it just works. It's fine. It's fine. It's the other thing we all need to get over at times is our tools don't need to be pristine. You know, my grip mats are getting stained. Bottles, things will turn color. My little water brush, the bristles are stained. Don't care. You know, I don't worry about it. And it's something that we as crafters, more than any other niche, for some reason it really became a thing with card making, is this weird idea of perfectionism. You know, that everything needed to match. Like your cardstock and your ink and your accessory had to be the exact same color. And if they weren't the exact same color, you were going to write a letter to the brand and being like, they were, you know, like it's weird. And like the obsession, like stamps shouldn't be stained and the tool, everything should be pristine at all times. And it's like, stop. It doesn't need to be like that. It becomes a weird obsession. And then it takes at least for me, it takes the joy out of it. The minute something actually gets stained, I will try to prevent it. You know, I take care of my things. I use distilled water, all this stuff, you know, but once it gets stained, it's okay. The world didn't end. We'll all survive. And yeah, it's just a way of thinking that we all need to kind of unlearn, because it just gets in the way, you know? Same with the concept of doing the backgrounds and getting inky and spraying things and getting your hands stained. Enjoy it. Don't worry about it. It's all paper and ink and fun stuff. And we'll survive. There's my little Tim talk for the day. So, yeah. One of my bottles turned yellow and I never use it. Plastic, things like photopolymers and then plastic over time, depending, because again, it depends on what it's formulated out of, will yellow over time. A lot of our old photopolymer stamps have turn yellow. You know, they still work fine. Everything's fine. That is sometimes also just the nature of the chemical makeup of how they were made. That just exposure to sunlight, again, that is also an exception, because sometimes something can be in a drawer in the dark, you know, forever, and it will just change colors. It happens. So, yeah, it happens. It's annoying sometimes, but meh, you know. Same things like enamel dots, that kind of stuff. Over years, adhesive can yellow depending. Like there's all kinds of factors, but that's also why just use the things. Use the things. So anyway, all I'm doing is just slapping color on. I'm not doing anything crazy. Nothing fancy. Just swirling my little water brush and then painting it. And then on the areas where the line detail is, aka the shading, that's where I was dropping in the Seedless preserves. Just cause in my world, picked raspberry and Seedless preserves just really like each other. The two colors just complement each other really nicely. And with regular distress inks, if you mix picked raspberry with Seedless preserves, you get a very pretty, almost like magenta color. If you want to get it closer to magenta, I would add maybe a little bit of festive berries, maybe. Because I know that was one color a lot of people were like, we need a more magenta color. I'm like, well, you can get that. You just mix some colors together. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Don't Well, they say the used items are shown to be the well-loved items. Truth. It's true. Um, yeah. It's just a weird, um, it's just a weird thing, specifically, again, specifically mostly in card making. This, and I don't know where it started, and I don't know why. And again, I've been doing this for 20 years now. And I still see it sometimes, and people get like really, really upset over their photopolymer stamps, get stained, that sort of a thing. And I get it. I understand it. I'm not belittling people feeling that way because it's like you bought these and they just don't look nice anymore. I get that, but I just say you got to get over it and just use it, ink it up, let it get stained. Don't worry about it. It still works. In fact, especially with stamps, the more stain they get, the better they stamp. My oldie but goodie favorite that I used on last week's live, and then I did a video just like 2 days ago that I posted using it. That beautiful flower stamp is so stained, the stamp itself is nearly pure black, and it stamps every time. It stamps perfectly. Again, perfect's overrated, but you know what I mean. And that stamp has a ton of detail, but I have used it so much that it is conditioned to perfection, and it is stained and hideous looking, but it is a beautiful stamp. And then, yeah, if you really want to get it to bother you, watch some of Tim's older videos where he gets a new stamp set and he inks up his stamps. He inks them up with archival black ink on purpose and doesn't clean them. So his stamps are black because archival is permanent. And then because he just, does his thing. And it's like, it makes people's minds melt when he does it. And I kind of laugh. And the only reason I don't do that is because I'm someone who I switch a lot and will stamp on the insides of my cards with very light inks, etc. So I clean my stamps and keep them clean. But if they get stained, or when they get stained, it's fine. It's fine. We'll all survive. Hopefully. Maybe not. Who knows? Okay. There's my rants about that. Yeah. Pretty sure it's a Stampin' thing. It technically started with them. It was a ridiculous thing on their part, and really annoying, honestly, for me. And there's a lot of other reasons. I'm not going to get into my thoughts on them. But yes, this concept of everything needing to remain like pristine. I don't know, because then that bleeds over into other areas of life, and like I always say, perfection's overrated. Like, just no, stop it. Also, I get the cloth I've been using to like clean up. It's off to the side. That's what I just between colors. I swirl my brush off. You can use a piece of paper towel. That works too. But yeah, I keep my cloth off to the side to wipe my brush off between colors, and also because again I'm working with a water brush, and water brushes are finicky. This one again, this one's my favorite for a reason. Because of all the water, and I have tried many water brushes over the last 20 years. This one is one of the best because some water brushes are just pure hot garbage, and the minute you like just hold it and it's like dripping water everywhere, which you don't want. But again, they're finicky sometimes. I don't squeeze it either. The only time I squeeze it is when it just stops flowing water completely. In fact, I can tell like right now there's no water on this. Like it's dry all of a sudden. So that's when I'll squeeze it until I get water coming out of it. There we go. There, see? That's the only time I squeeze the brush is when it like just decides to not flow anymore. And then I keep the cloth off to the side because sometimes it decides to like just continue to flow and it's annoying. So I do highly recommend for those that are interested in, playing around with watercolor but are very intimidated by it. Again, trust me, I know how that feels. Experiment with oxide inks. They're just, because of the formula and the creaminess of them and everything, I find them to be very, very easy to watercolor with. They're very forgiving. And they're just fun. And obviously with Oxide, you can do 5 bajillion other things with them. So a little more palatable for people than like investing in a watercolor palette, etc. It's like, yeah, just use your Oxide inks and a paintbrush. You don't even need to get a water brush. Paintbrush works too. Whatever floats your boat. So we just go in. I'm not even going all the way to the edge. I'm literally just slapping color on and letting it do its thing. Oh, I missed. I wasn't paying attention to the comments. What if you color the other flower using regular distress inks in the same colors? One of these days I'll do that. I think I've done it in past videos, not necessarily live, but like side by side, because they do look different. But I'm not obviously not doing that today. Hello, Kath. Do you have any advice for the inside messages on cards? Just watch my videos. I do the insides of every single card I post. And I'll be doing the insides of these ones today too. I always put something on the inside. Oxides were released in 2017. Okay, that makes more sense. 2017 sounds better. Even though it still seems like it's been longer that Oxides have been on the market. That almost sounds like Oxide sprays. I don't know. Again, it's on Tim Holtz' website. He did a really awesome little infographic. Okay. So yeah, and yes, I am giving the cards away. Apologies, I forgot to mention that in the beginning. The intern's been good about posting that in the chat. The little giveaway doomahickey is for those watching live. Is in the description box under the video, as always. Again, disclaimer, and me admitting I haven't mailed out the last 2 winners. I'll do it this week, hopefully. And like always, we don't keep that info. I don't share that info or sell it or anything. It is just for the giveaway, just so I have the person's mailing address. I do mail. It doesn't matter where you're located in the world. I'll mail the card or cards to the winners. And then I delete those forms. We don't keep your stuff. Okay. So there's my little bit of watercoloring. The only difference, I went a little heavier handed on this one than this one, which is fine. It's fine. Yeah, okay. Kath is right. Yeah, Distress Inks, original Distress Inks, when Tim Holtz started, was 2004. That was the original, like, OG Black Soot, Walnut Stain, etc. Like, just those, like, I think 6, like, neutrals, basically. Oxides, 2017. For some reason, I thought it's been longer than that. So I guess I haven't had the Oxides longer than the unpaid intern. I've had them about the same amount of time. You and I met in 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
2017.
Yeah, sounds about right. Feels like
Distress Oxide was back then.
You didn't. Although you did watch my videos and you knew what a Misty was. Because, yeah. That was one of the things that piqued my attention with this nerd, was when I told him what I did for a living, he didn't turn it into something really weird or insulting or whatever, because, oh boy, I could tell stories about that crap. No, he thought it was cool, and he understood it, and he was just like, oh yeah, you're a YouTuber. Meh. And then he let it slip that he was watching my videos. And I thought that was really cute. Okay. So, did the rusty hinge on the centers. I need to add a darker brown. That's bugging me. Where is Ground Espresso? Ground Espresso, where did you go? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I store all my distress products by alphabetical order. Except for the sprays that I keep on the back wall. Those I do in rainbow order. But I keep all the ink pads in alphabetical order because I know them all by name. So G, ground espresso, you know, A, B, C, D. That's how I can find all of these because we now have 70, is it 72 colors? There's a lot. There's a lot. Tim claims he's done, but we all know that if he ever got the plan to release more colors, we would just, you know, shut up and take my money. But he did announce that the palette is complete. So I'm okay with it. I just, if he decided to release more, I'd be here for it. Anyway, okay. Peel paint. We're just going to do the greenery. This is going to be quick and easy. So we got peeled paint. And I'll drop in a little Rustic Wilderness just because I can. My other favorite combo is Twisted Citron with Rustic Wilderness. Love, 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 love. Beautiful. And also not worrying about if I go outside the lines. I don't really care. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. Okay. How did you and Chris meet? We met at a Pride parade. We technically met online before that, but our first in-person meeting was at a Pride parade, which I still to this day find funny because the first time I ever told that, I don't think it was a friend. It was just, he was a gay man and he was just like, how do the cis straight people find someone at a Pride parade and the rest of us can't? Or so I forget how he worded it, but it made me howl. And I was like, I'm sorry. So yeah, good times. There we go.
A better story than a grocery store.
Yeah. The chances of us meeting at a grocery store would have been slim to none because, you know, not really my favorite place. And I'm usually in not a good mood. And well, he knows what I'm like when I'm not in a good mood. I'm a little bit repellent. Fingers crossed he releases Distress Archival in more colors. Yes. I don't use my Distress Archival very often. I need to play with them a bit more. The archivals are not something... I have them, obviously. Like, of course I do. I do like the other than the basics, like the black soot, etc., because, like, I have them. I like that the basics, the black soot, the browns, etc., like, those are in the full size. But I like that the rest of them are those little ink pads. But yeah, I don't use them very often, but that's just because of the way I craft. But I, of course, have them, because you never know, you know. Every once in a while, it's like, ooh, this will work for whatever thing. But yeah, I am a color hoe. I need to have all the colors of all the things. Did you know?
Sorry?
Did that throw you off?
No, I had a soda.
Oh. So, yeah, I like having all the colors of all the things. You don't need all the colors of all the things. No one does. It's, you know, that's another thing with this hobby. Sometimes it's just more is more and whatever, but a person doesn't need all the things. And in some ways, it can almost stifle creativity when you've got too many options, you know? But I like having all the colors. Well, and Chris would have had his headphones on. Yeah, well, back then he didn't have. The only reason he has noise canceling headphones is because I got them for him.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. There's the watercoloring. Simple. Like I said, simple. Yeah, I'm happy with this. Let me zoom out a little bit. I'm going to let that sit for a minute and let it sit and fully dry before we die cut them. But that gives me the opportunity, let me wipe that off, get that out of the way. That gives me the opportunity to come back to my backgrounds, which are much drier. They're still not fully dry. The paste is much drier, and now it's more crackly. This is why we like crackle. Crackle paste. So yeah, these are definitely drier, but I'm going to speed this up a little bit. With paste, you don't want to use like a heat tool, etc., to dry them. Depending on the type of paste, etc., because again, pastes are not formulated for high heat. And a lot of times, if you're trying to speed up the drying with a heat tool, it can cause the paste to bubble, you know, or it can burn because it's not meant for heat. But a little bit of it can sometimes help move things along a bit. So that's what I'm gonna do, just cause. Amy, is your palette just a piece of plastic? Yes, it's linked. It's just yeah, it's the Art Impressions little. I have a couple of them, and they're stained. They're stained thanks to black soot, pretty much. So yeah, it's handy little unit. Okay. Okay. So we're just gonna slowly speed up the drawing of this so that I can get on to the next step. Because of course we're gonna add splatter. Of course we're gonna. That'll also help flatten it out a little bit because it was curling just from all the paste. Yeah, that helps. That helps. There we go. Just got that. Gonna add some splatter. Of course we're gonna, which it would help if I got the splatter. There we go. Splatter. And that means splat box.
Oh, yeah, the splat box.
Yep.
Better get the magnet.
Yes, I was gonna get the magnet. Get the magnet. Then my Gonzai Tombi. Starry colors. As is tradition. Yes, Kath, it's the spring. It's linked in the supplies, the spring boho circle. One of them. There's more than one, but I think I linked to the right one, hopefully. They're similar. It's subtle, but I'm kind of glad because I didn't want these backgrounds to be too crazy. She says as she goes to add a bunch of gold splatter, whatever. Gotta work this up really well. Get a nice, and then I'm really gonna load up this brush because I want like blobs, because why not? Yeah. I'm gonna have to get another palette soon. I've hit pan, like that's all the bottom of the pan. I've used up almost all of this. I loves it. It's pretty. Doop doop doop. There we go. I like the big blobby bits because those will also sink into the crackle and just gives it that little extra something. Yeah. Okay. Wash that out. Set that aside, let it dry. Yeah. And same thing. These have to be set aside. Let those dry. Let's get that out of the way. Okay. Okay. Yep. So, we got our backgrounds. Just gotta let the splatter with an L dry. Let that dry. These guys are dry. So now we can die cut them with the coordinating wafer dies, which I have right here. I just need to find the big one. Yes. So we're going to die cut these guys. Going to hold the wafer dies in place with a bit of washi tape, just so that this doesn't shift when I run it through the die cut machine. Just like so. There we go. And then get things out of the way so I can actually use said die cut machine. Okay. There we go. And again. And then die cut. Hello, Mari. Okay. So, that guy up there. Pop out those little pieces. Love it. Love. Okay. Now to repeat on the second one. So we can just peel that guy up. And then those cutting dies are lifesavers, aren't they? Yes, they are. Like I always say, I can fussy cut. I don't mind fussy cutting. But yeah, I will avoid it whenever possible. And for things especially like interior parts, not fun when fussy cutting. I've done it many times over the years. You know, you get to learn to use a craft knife and all the things, but not my favorite thing to do. Okay, and this washi tape like doesn't have a whole lot of stick to it, but not really that big of a deal. Making sure. Stay. There we go. Okay. So we'll die cut this one. Just like so. And then so we got flowers. We got backgrounds. We're gonna need sentiments. That one. Let me get this wafer die so I can put it back in the packaging so I don't lose it. Because if I don't put it away, I will lose it. That's just the rules. Okay. Stick that guy there. So we got that. Again, pop out the center bits. There we go. And yes, the crackle does. See, that's why I did like big splotchy splatter. Because it sunk in to the crackle. Love it. So fun. Alright, so he has that so far. Got our flowers. We're gonna add a sentiment. I need to put something on the insides of the cards. I don't even want to know what type of brain rot you're looking at.
I'm watching you.
I know you're watching me, but you were watching something on the other screen, you dork. Yes, my content sometimes is brain rot. I'm probably you're a bum. Okay, card bases. I have a plan. There's always a plan. There's always a method. Archival inks should be good with water-based inks. Am I right? Yes. Archival inks are waterproof. They are permanent. Hero Arts core inks are smearing my archival inks. Hero Arts, I think the Hero Arts core inks, you cannot quote me on this because I'm not 100% certain, but I think their core inks are technically a hybrid ink. That would explain why they're smearing archival, because certain hybrid inks, and again, like, oh, this is a discussion that could go on forever. The older hybrid inks, because we have different ones now, but that formula, what's in it, there is something that's in it that will kind of react with the permanence of archival ink. That's why you're getting smearing. Other water-based inks will not smear with archival. So distress inks, the Hero Arts reactive inks, those are similar to oxides. Those usually should not smear archival. Simon's positively saturated inks, Altenew fresh dye inks, Concord and Ninth inks. Those are the only ones I can speak of directly, because other ones I have and use, because there's a lot of inks out there. There are a lot of inks on the market now. But hybrid inks, which I do think the core Hero Arts card inks are a hybrid, because I had some a long time ago, and they're very similar to like the old Simon Says Stamp formula, the original Simon Says Stamp formula. And yes, there was something in those inks that would kind of not play nicely with archival inks. Okay, I want to stamp this on the inside of the card because it's a beautiful stamp and I love the detail. And then give it a little pat. And I'm going to stamp it with, where did my the Salvaged Patina that I used on the background, because this is a light, color that'll be easy to write over. So I'm going to stamp it with the Salvaged Patina. So we'll just ink it up with that. Make sure I get everything stamped. Give it a gentle little tappy tap. And then look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Focus, camera. There we go. Look at that detail. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And again, whatever I stick on the inside of my cards, I will write right over it. Don't care. Because the insides are gravy. Gravy means poutine. There we go. If anyone was waiting, poutine has been mentioned, because we can't do a live without talking about poutine. We need to make poutine.
I was going to say, let's just go to Leopold's.
Yeah, we can't. But we have an air fryer now, so we could make some good fries and make our own poutine. Now I'm getting excited. I want poutine.
You don't have any really good, cheese for it, though.
I just like the marble cheese.
Yeah.
Shred the marble cheese. I don't do, poutine's a Canadian thing, and yeah, cheese curds are the way. I generally don't care. I'm totally happy with just, when we make it at home, I shred marble cheese right onto my french fries, pour a healthy dose of gravy over it, and just, settle into the food coma. Okay, so that was the inside. And then, now we have to put the grip mat back in, because I'm going to use clear stamps. I got hair stuck to my grip mat. Good job, Amy. Ugh, that's annoying. Go away. Get off of here. Yeah. Okay. So we got the inside stamped. I Google it and it says Hero Arts core inks are a mix of hybrid and dye inks. Ha! I was right. Told you. Yeah. They're good inks. I know the Hero Arts core inks are good inks, but I knew it. So if they have a hybrid formula in them, a mixture, because again, some brands do their own thing. That's what's interfering. It's one of the chemicals they use. I hate using the word chemical because some people just freak out. The internet discourse has literally, again, brain rot people. Chemicals are fine. Everything's a chemical. Water is a chemical. Just nothing irritates me more than when someone's like trying to pimp some sort of product. It doesn't really happen as much in crafting, but you see everyone, it's like chemical free, toxin free. And I'm like, if it's chemical free, there's nothing there then because it's got water in it. Anyway, there's my rant. But yeah, certain chemical makeups in ink, hybrids especially, there's something they use in it that makes it the hybrid that doesn't play nicely with archival ink. So yeah, okay, this is the stamp set I'm gonna just had to get that little rant out because I literally try to avoid using the word chemical because sometimes it just makes people freak out and I'm like, we're good, sunshine and smiles. That's the stamp set. Okay, so I was going to use this one, the Hello Friend, was kind of the plan for the outside. Yeah, because I don't want to use one of the really big ones because I don't want to cover up too much. So Hello Friend, and then I think I'll just do Wishing You Lots of Sunshine. Or do I want to do Sending Smile? Let's do Sending Smile. We can do that. So we're going to stamp that just like so. So we'll just line up. Make sure everything's lined up. I'm going to line that up. Straighten it a little bit. Do. Okay. Nope, it wasn't straight. Do. Always harder to do when I'm live. Boop. There we go. Now commit. Okay. Where's that ink pad? There it is. Just like when they say these vegetables are organic. Yeah. Well, yeah.
They're not inorganic.
They're not inorganic. It's when we're getting into some of the literal health crazes. There's a difference between. Yeah. Again, I could rant about this. It drives me nuts. Like people going on about GMOs. GMOs are not the devil. GMOs are fine. GMOs are what's actually helping us continue to feed the planet. And trust me, when I first heard of them way back, many, many years ago, because it's been well over a decade, I thought they were scary too. And then I talked to like actual agronomists and people with scientific. Why did I take that off there? I'm getting sidetracked with all my ranting. GMOs are fine, people. They're not going to hurt us. Yeah. Things like, and then the whole like craziness and organic everything and blah, blah, blah. Sadly, a lot of it is not regulated properly. And sometimes organic, like pesticides and things, are even more harmful than the real, like, it's a lot. It's a lot. And there's way too much misinformation and fear mongering and insanity. And then it all boils down to massive amounts of money. Okay, rant over. So many things, people. I try to avoid all that kind of stuff. We are a crafting channel. We will talk about crafting. It's all good. Love that. Love that. That's the inside of my card. So, okay. And yes, sunshine and smiles. That's what we're going to concentrate on. So let's stamp that with the Nocturne ink. Love it. So both those, and I did those now because same thing. Oxide ink and Nocturne ink needs to dry because they take a little bit to dry. The stamp set, okay, I was like, where did it go? So while I have my Misty out though, I want to heat emboss the sentiment, which I need to do that onto some black cardstock. Do I have any scraps left? I don't even think I have any scraps left of black cardstock because I used them all up. So let's have to trim down a piece, which is okay. Let me move the stamp so I don't lose it. Okay. So what do you use your archival inks for? Sentiments? I don't use archival very often because it's just not how I craft, but archival is really good for outlines. Like, instead of using the Nocturne, I could have just used archival to stamp my image. However, I prefer Nocturne because it's slower drying and I can heat emboss with it. Archival, you can heat emboss it, but you have to move fast because archival dries very quickly. I don't have patience for that. But archival is nice for if you're doing like a smushy inky background and you want to stamp something and keep adding ink and everything else. If you stamp it in archival, it's not going to move then, it's not going to blur out or anything like that. So archival has its place. I would highly recommend, like, watch Tim Holtz videos. He uses them, and especially like the colors and all the things. And yeah, it's not how I craft very often, but I have the archival, of course, because, they are good inks. But I just use this most of the time. Okay, so got some black cardstock for my sentiment, or main sentiment, because this is going to go on the outside of the card. So we'll just line that up. Doesn't need to be straight because we're going to die cut this dude. And I am running out of space. Yeah, poutine. Yeah, we talk crafting and poutine and snacks. Snacks. Cause
Who doesn't like snakes?
exactly. Those are kind of universal. I keep actual controversial stuff, for the most part. I try to keep that off my channel because we don't have time or place for that. And people, if it hasn't come across yet, I am a very opinionated person. And I already argue with enough people about mundane things. We don't need to get into the big stuff. Okay. Anti-static powder. Clear stamping ink. Yes. And then white embossing powder. Let me get the things ready. It helps if you get the things out. Boop. Okay. And, okay. White embossing powder, sentiment, cardstock. Here we go. Use my anti-static powder tool. Ink up the sentiment with clear embossing ink. I'm probably going to ink this up and stamp it a couple times, even though it did stamp perfectly. Because I've stamped this stamp many times. But stamps that have, like, chunkier lines, chunkier sentiments, etc. A lot of times, especially if I'm going to heat emboss them, I like to stamp them more than once to make sure I get a good ink coverage. And like I always say, it's better to stamp it, ink up and stamp more than once. Don't, like, reef on your stamps. You don't need to, like, smush them because that's where you'll lose the detail. Again, not a big deal with large sentiments like this, but fine lines, finely detailed, tiny little sentiments, if you press too hard, you're just mushing them into the cardstock, and then you're going to lose that detail, or you won't be able to read the sentiment. And then we got white embossing powder, just like so. And I got one little speck. I'm not too worried about it, but I'll just use a teeny little brush. Yeah, good enough. Good enough. We don't want to anger the donkeys. Truth. Truth. I really try hard not to aggravate those ones, the donkeys, basically, because it's just not worth it. Not worth it. The black cardstock I'm using, it's Simonson's stamp. It's linked in the supplies. And the other tip, which I've talked about this before, when it comes to heat embossing, the minute, the second, as soon as it melts, move your heat tool to the next section. If it's raised and melted, remove the heat tool. If you continue to heat, like if I'd kept going, it liquefies the embossing powder because, right now it's smooth, it's melted, it's raised. But if you keep blasting that very high heat at it, it will liquefy and it will sink into the cardstock. And that's where instead of getting like bright white on dark cardstock, it'll look very patchy. It'll look almost, you'll be able to tell because it's like, why does it look patchy? Why does it look flat, weird? Take a close look at it, and if it looks like it's sunk into the cardstock, it's because you overheated it. So when I say in my videos like a heat till it's smooth melted, move the heat tool, and then you're done. And then that's good. Is the Empress loud in person? The die cut machine? No, it's not. It is.
It's not whisper quiet.
No, it's not like quiet, but like I was using it earlier, and I'm going to use it when I die cut this. And my microphone is like right next, like it's like 6 inches from the machine, and it's way quieter than like my heat tool, significantly. Yeah, it's quieter. If you've ever used a Gemini machine, the Empress is quieter than the Gemini. The Gemini is way noisier than this thing. I remember when before the unpaid intern entered my life, when it was just me and the kids, because that's what I used to have to do. Well, I still do it, but I would come home. Actually, no, I remember doing that after because I would go see you some evenings, but I would come home and work after all the kids were in bed, and I'd be working in the middle of the night, and I had like the little Gemini go, and that thing was just like it was like nails on a chalkboard. Oy, really loud. So I would use my manual machine at night because the Gemini was too noisy. But yeah, the Empress is not bad at all. Okay, microfiber cloth to remove the excess anti-static powder. There was something else I was going to address. Oh, Chris is my hero. If he can go to Costco and stick to the list, well, then he's your hero because he can.
Sometimes I don't even get things that were on the list. I'm that good.
Yeah, he's that good. Sometimes he doesn't even get the entire list, which is hella annoying. Or when he claims that he can't find certain things that I know is there.
Sometimes they move.
Sometimes they move. More often than not, it's right in front of his face and he can't see it. But then there's other times where he will phone me, like FaceTime me from there to try and prove to me. And I'm like, it's right there. It's right there. Right in front of you. Like, it's right there, But that's just, male creatures in general from my experience. They can't see the ketchup bottle in the fridge in front of their nose. Yes, Mari's right. The Gemini 2, the new Gemini that they released, that was it's been a little over a year now, is quieter because Mari, I've seen that one in action when I went to Create last year, and it is quieter than the original one. It's not as noisy. Okay, there we go. I take a picture to show it's out. If it's in this, yeah, and Chris does that sometimes too. He'll take a picture and be like, "See, they didn't have it." I'm like, "Oh, fine," but yeah.
if I know I'm gonna get flack,
if there's certain things that I am like fixating on that I need or really want, and then he comes home without it, he knows. He just takes a picture so that I don't change the locks.
Yep.
So it's all good. Okay, there's coordinating dies. Here we go. I was like, I have coordinating dies, okay? Anyway. I tell my husband he's looking with his man eyes. Truth.
Our vision's based on movement, like a T-Rex.
It is based on movement. And the ketchup bottle never moves, so he can't see it for the life of it.
It's falling. I see that. And
oh yeah, dad reflexes. He's got the dad reflexes, but it's a constant joke. I razz him about that constantly because he's like, I can't find this. Or when he's in here trying to help me find things. And I'm like, dude, you're never going to find it.
Someday I'm going to be your hero.
Someday, yeah. I laughed. He was in here last night because I was losing my mind because I couldn't find a die set that I literally, like, I was working on a project, the one that is actually going to come probably tonight. I'll have everything done. But I was like working on a project and I lost the die set. Couldn't find it for the life of me. It was like ripping apart everything. And then Chris ended up in here and he's like wandering around. Like he's trying to be helpful. And it's like, you are not going to find this thing. And I'll be mad if you do. He didn't. He didn't even know what I was looking for anyway. He was just like trying to help. And then after a while, he was like, what are we looking for? It's like birthday candles, man. Oh, but I found it. Thankfully. Underneath a bunch of other things. Because I am nothing if not disorganized and chaotic. But is what it is. I heard a rumor that Anna Griffin will be coming out with a new die cut machine on HSN. I have heard that rumor. I've heard it. We'll see. It's a great machine. The only thing with the machine, I don't like the color. That's about it. But the machine itself is great. But I have heard the rumor that she's coming out with another one. We'll see. I'm kind of just, I don't know, since I am a content creator and I do this for a job, I'm sure I'm going to end up budgeting and setting aside depending, and so I can, test it out. But, none of these companies send these things to me, like the big ticket items. I pay for them out of pocket. So it's hard sometimes to justify. I get asked a lot, like, what do you think of this machine or this thing or whatever? And I was like, dude, I don't have it. Like, they're expensive, and I usually have to pay a very large amount in shipping. So we'll see. But I heard the rumor and I was just like, that might be cool. We'll see. It's a great machine. I really love my Empress. And I use it a lot. Okay. Have you seen the new Honeybee Stamps follower and release? Oh yeah, I have it. I will have videos. Trust me. You guys, I am buried under product. It's a good thing. Stamptember starts in a week, which again, we will discuss at the end of this live. And yeah, Honeybee has an absolutely amazing release. I will get to it hopefully soon. Plus other brands have releases coming and just all the things. All the things. This is why I do not leave this garage hardly at all for the next 6 weeks. It's gonna be interesting. He's a Platinum 6, but the screw came out of the handle and I'm having trouble getting a response from so I can just see what... Oh, what size it is, you mean? Yeah. Maybe Anna isn't changing her machine but coming out with a larger one. I mean, the Empress, the full size one is a big machine because and we already have larger plates. These are the standard plates for the Empress. I can't show, well, yeah, I can't show the machine on camera. I don't have a die cut cam. We will eventually have one. It's just tech, man, and this stuff's expensive. My equipment. But the die cut plates are your standard size. So these are, your 7 inches by 8.5, 7 by 8.5 roughly, standard size. There are bigger plates that fit in this machine. I have them. I don't use them very often. I use these when I'm die cutting a ton. And I don't show these on camera because these are huge. These are the big plates. So this is 8.5, 8 3/4. The magnetic is 8.5 by just over 12. 13 inches. Big plates. Huge. And then I can do a ton. And yes, I've started cutting into the magnet. It's not recommended. I do it anyway because I just stopped caring. And because I do a ton of die cutting. Now I have to put these back because they're in the way. But yeah, I can't imagine her doing a bigger machine because you just don't need it. But who knows? I might be totally wrong and there might be a reason for it. But yeah, those big plates, you can die cut any wafer die set on the market, from what I understand. Okay, back to die cutting the sentence. You know you're a true craft professional when you spend time looking for an item you just have. I would get so much more work done. Honestly, it makes me angry some days because my brain is in 5 million places and I spend a big chunk of it wandering around in here trying to find things that I just had. It's like, where was this wafer die? Why? Why? And then Chris will come in here and just take one look at me, and he just usually will like slowly back out of the room.
There's a time and place to talk to a cat.
Yeah, sometimes I'm just like ready to and he knows. It's like I try not to take it out on him, but it's like, why? Like everything was fine until 2 minutes ago when everything grew legs and walked off, and I don't, I'm on a deadline and I'm hungry and wah. Anyway, I lose stuff all the time, and again, I'm a disorganized mess. I like being organized, I really do, but I just haven't had time. Okay. Yes, and yes, I always say, because as a content creator and a maker, I will always recommend what the manufacturer, what the proper process of anything is, because that just, to me, I take that seriously as my job. So it is not recommended that you cut into the magnetic mat. That said, I do it anyway now. I didn't for the longest time, and then I just caved. And yes, Anna Griffin herself cuts into the magnetic mat. Is what it is. But yeah, like whatever, But I just like I logistically I don't recommend it, but I do it anyway. So, like everything, do as I say, not as I do. Why the Anna Griffin plates cost so much money to replace? I'm in Canada. I'm in Canada too. They're expensive. This kind of stuff, it's pricey. It's pricey to get it up here. The shipping is nuts, and more often than not, at least with the basic cutting plates, I do things like when I'm placing assignments to stamp order, because that's who I order all my stuff from, not just because I work with them. It's just where I place my orders. A lot of times I'll just add a set of cutting plates to my cart so that I have some backstock, because again, I do this as a job, and I have literally been in that position where I've never done it with an Empress, but I have been in the middle of like a major crafting session for deadlines and broken a cutting plate and not had a replacement. And for me, that's not good, because I'm in Canada. A lot of these things are not easy to replace or quick, and so I have like extras that I have quite a stash of, because that's one of my weird little phobias, is like running out of cutting plates. It's the end of the world. So I have like 10 on hand. Okay, where's the die? There we go. It's like, where's the die set? Right there. There we go. Need to put these into one of their little storage envelopes so I don't lose them. Okay, let's get back to this. And the other thing I lost, no I didn't, I have them, is baker's twine. We're gonna add some baker's twine. And yes. Yep. And yes, I have the full size Empress. I started with the mini and I loved it. And then I upgraded to the Empress like a year ago and haven't looked back. And I prefer I use the full size. And the nice thing is you can use the mini plates in the big machine. Like I could use the mini plates to do this, like little bits of die cutting. And these will even fit through sideways too. Like you can say like this is the opening of the machine. You can actually stick these through this way so it's faster. But yeah, the mini plates work just fine in the machine, as do the regular size plates, and then those great big plates. And there's also mini like long plates that are like this big. They're enormous. I don't bother with those. I think I have a set, but I don't use them because it's like if I need like something larger, I use just the normal size plates. Anyway, okay. We got our backgrounds, which are now pretty much dry. They better be, because otherwise we're in trouble. I'm gonna use my scissors just to kind of snip off. I've got little bits of the paste kind of hanging off the edges. So just use my scissors to kind of snip that off. Clean up, because I'm not going to trim this down. Or am I? Am I going to trim this down? I don't know. Do I want to? Yeah, I kind of do. Why not? I wasn't gonna, but now I've changed my mind. So I got my florals. I got this. I got this. Yeah. Okay, let's trim this down. Because we can. Yeah, Mari's actually the one that can speak on the Gemini, like the new Gemini, because Mari does like makes content for Crafter's Companion. And yeah, she has all those machines. Like, and she has the new Gemini. I don't have it. I just have the old. I have the old Geminis. I'm not a big fan of them. Like I said, I've seen the new one in action, and she's got it. Interesting to know that it has more pressure. I didn't know that, Mari. Interesting. Yeah. But yes, yeah, and that is the crap thing with the Gemini. It happened with the old ones, and then yeah, it does it with the new ones. Is the Gemini plates warp very quickly, and it's really annoying. The Empress plates, for the most part, don't warp. I have managed to warp them, but I die cut at a like commercial industrial level because like I do this as a job. I put out like a bajillion videos a week, etc. I have managed to warp mine, but not much. Like mine will kind of bow more in the middle a bit when I'm die cutting into the plates, and I wear out plates faster than the average bear. You know, same with since I started cutting into the magnetic plate. Like you've been saying, I have cut into this a lot, and over time it's just going to start like smushing a bit, and I'll have to replace it. That's fine. But for the most part, though, these plates don't warp. They have been amazing. I'm a big fan of the Empress. Big fan. Big fan. How do you break a cutting plate? Dumb luck. It happens. More often than not, once you've cut into it enough times, and I can't show that because I don't have a broken one on hand, but I when I do cut into my plates, regardless of the machine, like I will cut into it a million times. I flip it over, like constantly rotate it, blah 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 blah, because that keeps them from warping. But you cut into it enough, you are slowly wearing away the integrity of the plate, and then you'll just be die cutting one day, and you'll hear a big crack, and then the plate goes whing, and you broke it. It happens. I've done it with manual machines. I don't think I've ever broken one on an electric machine that I can think of. But it happens. It's rare, but it happens. I've managed to do it anyway, more than once. And I've broken die cut machines too. That's fun. Okay, back to what I was saying. I've been wondering if you can use the mini plates in the regular size Empress. Yep, you can. And yeah, okay. Let's trim this down just a bit. Not a lot, because you know I like these backgrounds that I made. But let's trim this down just a smidge. Let's take off like 1/8 of an inch off all the sides, which will clean up the paste that's crackled on the sides anyway. So we'll trim these down to like 4 by 5 1/4. Just like so. There we go. Yeah, that works. I still want to know if you could warp the grand caliber. Though that would be different. If I could get my hands on either, there's the old grand caliber, there's also the tonic tangerine die cut machine. There's something that they use in those plates. Yeah. It would be interesting if I could. I would definitely give it a go to see if I could warp them. But those machines are nearly impossible for me to get my hands on. And I'm not willing to spend huge amounts of money because they're very heavy machines. It's the shipping more than anything that is painful. And I don't need another die cut machine. I'm happy with what I have. But yeah, I've heard amazing things about those machines and that they just don't warp at all. Anyway, okay. There's my slightly trimmed down backgrounds. My thoughts on a Spellbinder's Platinum 6. Oh, the Platinum 6 is amazing. I love my Platinum 6. For a manual die cut machine, I love the Platinum 6. And that is your basic size. That's your normal size. There's also the Platinum, which is a big beast of a machine. I have that as well. Had those before I got electric machines. And then there's the little Scout. But a Platinum 6 is a great die cut machine. And yes, if that is the only drawback for me with the Empress is you cannot use a better press or glimmer hot foil. Will not work in an Empress machine. They won't fit those tools. So I do recommend anyone who's interested, even a little, I would recommend the Platinum 6 because they're made to work together. I've had some people tell me that they've had issues with the Better Press and the Glimmer Hot Foil with other brands of die cut machines. They're technically compatible with other manual machines. It just doesn't work quite the same, and it gets a little iffy. But yeah. But yes, I very much love the Platinum 6 machine. It is just a good machine. We got that. You keep snickering.
Sorry.
Yeah. You're not paying attention, sir. See, this is why we need to get more M&Ms to keep you to get you to behave. Okay, we're gonna add baker's twine. Back to what I was doing. The warping on the Gemini Junior drove me insane until I watched Jennifer's video on using the double-sided plates. I did that. I tried it. Hated it. Didn't work for me. I got literally one die cut with those green double-sided plates. I had them taped together, everything. I was able to get one intricate die cut, and then it would not cut anything intricate. I couldn't get them to work, and they didn't really warp per se. But no matter what I did, it wouldn't give enough pressure to like do clean die cuts, and I nearly threw that machine across the room. I was so frustrated, and I stopped using it and went back to using just my Platinum 6. And then the Empress, I was able to get my hands on it last year, and I've never looked back. But I know it works for a lot of people to do that trick with the green plates. I could not get that to work for me. No matter what. Okay. Gonna wrap around some baker's twine. I got really distracted today, but that's okay. And then, the ground caliber's been discontinued. Yeah, the ground caliber's been discontinued. I think the tonic tangerine hasn't been, but that's, I think, only available in the UK. Someone can quote me if I'm wrong. But yeah. My thing with the tonic tangerine, well, and the grand color, they're ugly. It's the color. Like the tonic tangerine is like violent orange. It's so hideous. But I've heard it's an amazing machine. And Tonic makes great tools. Tonic makes all the paper cutters. They work with Tim Holtz to make all his tools. Tonic is a very good company. Okay, so we've made our bow. I was using reverse tweezers. I'll explain it again on the second one because I got distracted again. I'm like the dog from Up. The squirrels keep popping in the chat. There we go. We'll just do that. Got our little bow. Yes. There we go. So we got that one. Crafter's Companion does not recommend the plating with the green plates. Oh yeah, I wouldn't blame them. It's another one of those things where the manufacturer can't recommend things, you know, because you start potentially voiding warranties, etc. So I can see where Crafter's Companion comes from on that. Because you know we're doing things the way we're not supposed to, and that's why, you know. But I did test it out, and it just for me it didn't work. It was not a good time, and I was kind of frustrated because even getting those green plates cost me a chunk of change, and I was so annoyed when it didn't work. But it happens. So I tested it out and then never showed it in a video because it didn't work for me. Okay, so we got baker's twine. We wrapped it around, and then hold this in place, get the ends out. Reverse tweezers. These are a must-have. Love my little reverse tweezers. My one recommendation with reverse tweezers is have more than one pair. Because if you only have one pair of reverse tweezers, they get lonely and they will walk off. It's true. Stop laughing at me. Sure it's true. I always lost them when I only had one pair. Again, I spent way too much time searching for my reverse tweezers. And then when I got multiples, because, you know, I'd wait for sales, different things. They're not very expensive, full price. They're like $7. But now that I have multiple pairs, I never lose them. They just hang out. I got 3 of them on my desk. I have like 5 more in a drawer. I have plenty. And I've never lost them since. But when I only had one, so annoying. Same with all my other little tools, like my little pokey tools, my little scissors. I have multiples. And the minute I got multiples, I stopped losing them, which is so dumb. I don't know why it's like that, but whatever. None of them are expensive tools, so it doesn't really bother me. And the expensive ones, like the die cut machines, it's not like they can grow legs. You guys will all hear me screaming from here, though, if my die cut machines all of a sudden start disappearing. Because then it'll be the proof, though, that the poltergeist is actually in here. Okay, so the reverse tweezers were holding the knot. That's what I was getting towards. I'm just getting super distracted today. So it holds the knot so I can make my bow the way I want it. You pull it tight. Fiddle with it a bit. Remove. Pull it tight again. And then I pinch it so that I don't like completely loosen it and get it the way I want it. It's going to twist a little bit because, again, the cardstock's a bit warped. It'll be fine when I adhere it to my card front. It'll be fine. Okay. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Grand caliber can also be used as a weapon for the zombie apocalypse. Truth. Like, yeah. Yeah. You never know. You never know, man. Yep. What do you think about the Civic Switch? I don't have it, so I can't comment. I've heard good things, but I don't have it. Like I said earlier, especially those sorts of machines, even though I do this as a living and I would love to like do a comparison, that is a hefty investment. I can't. I would love to be able to just buy all the machines just so I could compare them and give everyone my, honest thoughts on it. But yeah. Maybe someday. If that sugar daddy that I keep asking for, just,
Look, I'm a sugar-free daddy.
You are a sugar-free daddy. Look, I just want one that'll just send me money with no expectations, okay? Just a generous benefactor. Like in the Victorian times with the artists. That's what I need, is a very rich benefactor. Well, that's what I need. Why can't that still be a thing?
Benefactor looking.
I guess.
They're not just not growing on trees.
No. But can't they just wander into my life without me having to look and be like, here you go. go buy all the crafting things you desire.
They'd-
Just cuz.
They'd have to wander into the house.
Have to wander into Yeah, if some person wandered in the house and was like, I want to give you money, I'd be like, get the heck out of my house as I'm calling the cops. Okay. Anyway. Why? Why can't it be easier? You know? Or if I could just wake up in the morning and our mortgage is paid off, that would be nice too, you know? Then
Bank
I could.
error in your favor.
Yeah, bank error in your favor. But please pass go and collect, you know,
$200.
a bajillion would be preferred. Okay. Back to the card. I want to stick these guys into place with some foam squares. Foam squares. Do I want to use thicker foam squares? No, I don't. I'm going to use thinner foam squares. So, let's put some foam squares on the back of these guys. Yeah, I'm getting like massively distracted today. Now I have an explanation about why I have to have multi-tools. Yeah, they need friends. I don't know. They do. They get lonely and then they walk off. And it's really annoying when that happens. So yeah. Got that guy. And then we'll cut a little bit just for the stem. Just like that. So that we can stick this. Yeah, just like that. Do you use the color cubes much? Nope. I will eventually. But I haven't been using them in a long time. But then I do the color throwdown challenge every week. And that always gets my brain going with different colors and stuff. They're great. Don't get me wrong. They are great. I just don't I don't use them very often. Okay, this guy I'm gonna pop up with thicker foam squares. Thicker foam squares so that he's got a little extra dimension. So then I have to put thinner foam squares on the top portion. Just being a little bit extra here. Okay. And then we can all use a rich benefactor. Truth. There we go. And then gonna pop that guy into place. Just like that. It's working. Considering when I started this live, I was like, I have no idea, and my brain was a mess, and just the vagueness in the brain space. I do like when it actually works. Because a lot of times it doesn't.
That's okay too.
Kind of, but not again. When I'm doing this as a job, it can be frustrating. In general, with crafting, technically you can learn from anything. Like I say, do as I say, not as I do. So even if it does end up a hot mess, you learned from it. You learned what might not have worked, or that, you know, this color combo might not work, or whatever else. I get really upset when things don't work. Because again, I just don't have any free time, man. Wow. But 99% of the time, I can usually make it work. Or the other times I know, like last night when I was just getting really upset and I couldn't find that stupid die set. And then when I found it, I was just like, time to shut everything off and just go to bed, and I'll deal with it later. Because, yeah, not good. Okay. That, and then we just repeat the process and stick some foam squares on the back of this guy. And then thin foam squares. Just like that movie, you need a young priest and an old priest. You need thin foam squares and thick foam squares.
Yep.
It works. You never know what you're making. Got to be able to build dimension, yada yada yada. Okay. Thanks. Thank you, Shauna. Yeah, these worked. They're working. Who'd have thunk? There we go. So, get this into place. Like that. The inks are dry on the insides of my cards. So we can get these adhered to their card bases. Just like so. Yep. Okay. I'm not going to use foam tape. Usually I would, but since I built up extra dimension with all the foam squares, I'm not going to use foam tape to adhere these card fronts. I'm just going to use craft tacky glue. And then that also gives me wiggle room, which is nice, so that I can get these straightened. And because they, of course, want to resist being adhered. This is where the magnets come in handy. And yes, these magnets are from Glassboard Studio. And I do have a link in the description below the video and a code. Because these magnets were another little hefty little investment, but I like them. It was worth it. So the magnets will hold everything down because my work surface is magnetic. My work surface is also from Glassboard Studio. Links in the doobly-doo. And then, let me get rid of that. So that'll hold those in place. And then, I got distracted again. Thank you, Wendy. I bought the Tim Holtz Flower Shop set because of you. No, it's a beautiful set, and I only used 2 stamps out of it. I should have used these ones. I didn't think about that till like after it was done. I should have used these on the background. I like the little like kind of sketchy, you know, a lot of his sets have that, obviously. But like I didn't even think this one's really cute and this one's beautiful. I only used 2 stamps from this set, but I'll have to use it again one of these days. Anyway, Mari, if I win the lottery, I'm going to build a massive craft studio with a professional filming studio. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I can't even imagine. I'll say it here because maybe that'll make me actually commit. We might move all my stuff into our basement, but that won't be for a long time, like till the new year. Because again, this is the busiest time of year for me. We'll see. It might not happen because as soon as I start thinking about it, I start sweating over the
minutia.
Oh gosh.
Yep.
So we'll see. I'm making it work here in the garage. It's fine, but it is very difficult, especially in the winter. But the amount of jury rigging I have going on in here to be able to film and to be able to just do what I do in a garage that was not set up, heck, to even be out here, let alone crafting and filming and all the things. But gotta do what you gotta do. So yeah. Okay. Repeat the process. Get everything lined up. And then I can just move my magnets over to this side to hold all the things down. Boop. There we go. Make sure these guys actually adhered, which it looks like everything did. So we'll just let that sit and dry. And then would it be warmer for you in the bigger sun? Oh yeah, much warmer, because it's part of the house.
Yep.
And there's vents in there, you know, from the furnace. Out here, I've got, well, I had a garage heater installed. I couldn't work out here otherwise, because we live, for those that aren't aware, we live in Saskatchewan. It gets to -50, and that is -50. And again, if any donkeys want to come out in the comments and start arguing with me over that, it does get to -50, which is like -55 or 58 Fahrenheit. I don't even know. Once it hits -40, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. Really, once it hits negative like 30, 35, it really just doesn't matter anymore. It's just cold. You know, but it gets cold here. Super, super, super cold. So I've got a garage heater, and then I have a couple space heaters, and yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts, but we make it work. I have a Tim Holtz glass board. I don't think it's magnetic. Question: could I use a big magnetic sheet and turn it into a magnetic board? Like, maybe. It's I can't, again, because I'm not gonna like recommend nothing, and I also don't want to recommend something that could potentially be pricey with the Tim Holtz one. Because even these, it's not a magnet. It's like a metal sheet that's underneath this glassware. That's what makes these a little more like pricey, obviously, because they're heavy. It's possible. You would need more than like a magnet under the Tim Holtz one. Like, well, any glass mat, you would need more than just like a thin magnet sheet. Like, it would have to be something kind of sturdy and something pretty strong because it's a thick layer of glass. So, yeah. Yeah, because it's usually like a little metal sheet that's attached under things like this. And that's what the magnets are like clean. These magnets are powerful, by the way. You need to be careful with them. They're strong, but I like them anyway. Would the basement be a bigger boat? Actually, technically, no. It wouldn't be. That's part of it. It wouldn't be. Our basement's not like huge. But I would have a little bit more options. It's more well lit, because that's another huge issue in here. Is the lighting is I make it look okay, but that's because I have a ridiculous amount of lights around me. The basement would be a little more well lit. I would have a little bit easier options for filming. We'll see. I'm not making. Who knows? I will readdress the concept once I survive this year. Yes, yeah, Barb is right. She's got a Tim Holtz glass board. She has a Wendy Vecchi make art station. I have one of those too, and it's like square. It's like a square little metal piece with grid lines and stuff. And I've shown that in old videos, very old videos. I still have it around here somewhere, and it has little magnets, and that works. It's not quite the same, but it does work. Maybe fewer big spiders in the basement. No. We have to deal with that. That is one of the things that I have to be very strong over when the kids are freaking out, and I'm all like, I don't see what the big deal is, and then I'll deal with it, and then I go to Chris and cry. I was like, where were you? I had to rescue them from the monster, and it's like just a spider. But yeah. The cold has got to be a killer. No, it does not get that cold in here because I keep the heaters going, everything. I do not allow it to get freezing in here, literally, because it can wreck the sprays, the products, everything, especially things like sprays. You do not want to let your liquids freeze. I had somebody ask me about that the other day. And I was like, I can't recommend any of that. But things like sprays and that, because again, water will expand as it freezes, and turns to ice. You could literally burst your sprays, all of that, if you were like storing them long term in an area that's not climate controlled. I wouldn't do it. So yeah, I don't let it get that cold in here. And also I'm in here 7 days a week, so it can't. And even when it's super cold and 50 below and I still got to work in here, I will have the heater going, got my space heater. I've got a heated throw that I will plug in and I will wrap myself in my heated throw so I can keep doing my job. I do it. I make it work. I make it work. Okay, there. Diane has said, I've put the Wendy Vecchi plate under your glass mat and a strong magnet stick. So that's an option. Because like I said, yeah, like something metal like that. I have it. Here it is. Here, just a sec. Let me. Ha! Haven't used it in forever. It's covered in dust. This is the Wendy Vecchi. You want to look this? No, this is the tonic one. Same thing. Same thing. I don't even know if this is available anymore, but it's the same as the Wendy Vecchi one. It's metal. It's metal, and then it's got just a foam backer on it, and it is like magnetic. This one came with, this is a tonic one, but the Wendy Vecchi one is the same thing. In fact, I'm not sure, don't quote me, but I think it's made by Tonic, so it's that literal same thing. So yeah, you could stick something like this under it and the glass, it should work. In fact, okay. I'm getting really distracted, you guys, but you know, whatever. Welcome to my lives, welcome to the chaos, and I blame you guys. You guys distract me. That's okay. I have to move some things to show this. I'll use the little one because of course I have the Tim Holtz glass mats as well. Like, these were not as expensive as other tools when I was going on about tools and expensive things, but these weren't not that bad. Let me move my cards. Okay, so Tim Holtz Tonic. This is the travel size glass mat. It does have a foot in the middle, so you would have to possibly take it off. I don't recommend doing that. Again, I will not recommend things that aren't suggested, but I can try and test this out. So if I move this, that's a waffle flower little grip mat. Let me move these things out of the way. Okay, so I got that. I'll just kind of, so then, because like this mat, the Tim Holtz glass mats are not magnetic. Like it's just tempered glass. But if I did that, yeah, it works. Yeah. So yeah, you could put like the Wendy Vecchi or the Tonic metal dude underneath it. It works. There you go. The more you know. We learned something new today, folks. I kind of assumed it, but now we know. So I'm just going to hang him back up there where he will just sit and I will forget about him again because I haven't used this in forever because I don't need it. But I keep all my tools because you never know. There may be a magical time because anytime I get rid of anything, that's when I end up needing it for some bizarre reason. And then all my magnets, you can technically keep them stored on like the work surface, but I have a little magnet or metal filing cabinet underneath my desk here, and I just stick all of those to it because otherwise I'm a mess and I get them in the way. Okay. Okay. Boop. Now, last little bit. Yeah, you guys learned something new. We all technically did. We learned something new. That's why I do what I do. It just, you gotta dig through all the chaos and randomness and squirrels to get there. Okay. Gotta add some bling. Can't not have bling. There's the bling. I was like, where is my bling? Okay. Yeah. Good for traveling. Yes. Then even though I've got this is a big glassboard studio mat, I refuse to get rid of my Tim Holtz ones because they're nice and I paid for them. So I just have them like kind of under my desk, just piled up. Because same thing. I refuse because it's like, I don't really travel. I don't travel. I don't go anywhere. But again, you never know. And if I have the chance to point to, I was like, oh, maybe I'll be able to have like space to like set those up, or what we have had requests and the unpaid intern one of these days will do a live and he'll sit and craft with me again. But the whole reason we don't do that hardly ever, other than that one time, is there's just no space. Literally.
Yeah.
So that's also part of the reason why I would like to move to the basement, because I could set things up better so that we could do things like that, because it's fun. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't. I need a bigger boat. I need more time. I need a rich, generous, friendly benefactor that wouldn't have any weird expectations. I don't think I'm asking for much, you know? I think it's reasonable. Just reasonable little requests, people. Just gonna add a little bit of bling. And while I do that, yeah. While I do the bling, you can choose a couple winners.
Can I?
Yeah, you can. Just gonna add some bling. Boop, boop. These are just, and these are linked in the supplies. These are little Simon Says stamp. Stay gold sequins, confetti. Confetti is what they are. They're not sequins, but let's sprinkle some of those. Yeah, that works. That works. Okay. And then, thank you for testing me. Well, yeah, no problem. I don't mind. Like, I genuinely don't mind all of the random distractions. I don't mind it. It's just, yeah, just is what it is. It's sometimes, I guess, more just the war in my head of like, oh, we need to do like start to finish the project. Like, it needs to be like clipped and concise and even though, yeah, we're live. We're live. That's the whole point. So we can talk and I can explain things and blah, 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 blah. You know, for those that don't, why I'm saying this and I'm literally not speaking to the right audience, because those that don't like the lives aren't watching. Or if you are, I provide many, many videos that are edited. You know, short, concise, not so rambly and crazy like this, but is what it is. So yeah. What's in here? Just little dabs, craft tacky glue. Boop. Get those into place, just like so. And then all we'll have to do is let the glue dry. Burp. Yeah, works for me. I'm glad you guys enjoy them, and it will never not amuse me. I don't, or not amuse. It's not. That's not the word, but it still kind of blows my mind that people like to tune in. It does. It blows my mind that people like to tune in live. It blows my mind that people watch my content. I have a very off-putting personality in a lot of ways. And so it just kind of amuses me that people, it's like, you like, I actually sent that to someone, that Sally Fields, just that clip of her from a million years ago, her Oscar acceptance speech.
Oh.
You like me. You really like me. I sent that to someone literally just 2 days ago. Because, yeah, I was like, really? Really? We have winners? Okay, give me a sec. I was starting to clean up. I was like getting way distracted here. Let me zoom in again. So there's our finished cards. We did it. So we've got the background with that stencil and the texture paste. And I like the texture paste absorbed, because I did all of this and the stamping with Oxide inks, which are water reactive. So the texture paste, as it was drying, it was absorbing some of that ink. So it tinted it green, which is fun. I knew it was going to do that. You know? And then, yeah, it's all crackly. You gotta love the crackle. And then the splatter kind of settled into the cracks as well, which love. And then simple watercoloring. And then the inside, just like so. God, that's a gorgeous stamp. It's so pretty. I love this stamp set. So those are the cards. Let me do the magic. I think I can do this. There we go. There we go. Okay. Who's our winners?
Our winners are Donna H. from Michigan.
Donna in Michigan.
And Marcy D. from Kentucky.
And Marcy in Kentucky. I hope I will get these mailed out this week. Hopefully. Along with last week's winner and the one from before. That's how behind I am with just everything. So hopefully we'll get them mailed out this week. Because, yeah, the amount I have on my plate right now is going to be bonkers. And yeah, since now the card's officially over. Stamptember. There's not a whole lot I can say right now. Stay tuned, because I know like Simon Says Stamp themselves will be, announcing things, etc. So we'll just see. For those that are new or have never heard of it or need a refresher, Stamptember is a month-long party, basically. It is exclusively through Simon Says Stamp. It's only through them. This is something that they started. This is 15 years this year. And it's a lot. Some of you have no idea. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. It starts with a huge release of the Simon brand products at the beginning of the month. So there's September/Stamptember release, which is Simon brand products, which I don't know yet. I've been thinking about it last year. Chris and I went live as it was released, and we just did a live release and review. Remember? Yeah. We did that night. I don't know yet if we're going to do that, because I'm not sure yet what's going on, because that comes out Saturday night, our time, technically, because Saturday is the last day of August. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm not sure yet, because I just realized the 1st is next Sunday.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I don't know yet if we'll do like a live release and review. That would be really fun. But I'm not going to make any promises right now, because I'm not sure yet. I will see during this week what is going to happen with everything. So anyway, and then the big thing with Stamptember is they have partnered with many brands in the card making industry. And throughout the month, there are limited edition exclusive stamp, sometimes stamp and wafer die, sometimes stamp and stencil releases by these other brands through Simon Says Stamp. They are one and done limited releases. So once they sell out, they're gone for good. And in the last several years, I have done videos for almost every single release. So it ends up being like multiple videos a day, etc. I am planning things. Can you say how many collabs there are? I can't say anything. That's why I can only speak in general terms, because a lot of it is surprises as well. Yeah, I can't say things. The thing too with Stamptember is a person does not need every single exclusive release. Like pick the one that really appeals to you, one or two or whatever. The nice thing is that the whole point of it too is to just like collaborate and to be inspired and, to shine a spotlight on a lot of these other brands, because some of them are very small little brands, that partner, and it's just a lot of fun. And then throughout the month, there's usually, again, I am speaking from just previous experience. I do not speak for Simon Says Stamp, because a lot of things are kept very hush-hush. Because like Heidi, the owner of Simon Says Stamp, loves surprises, loves to surprise people, everything. Last year was interesting because, yes, the package for me with all those collabs got lost and didn't arrive until like 10 days into Stamptember or something. It was chaotic. I ended up having a meltdown on live because, like I'd said at the beginning of this live, the only reason I do all this extra work is it's my Christmas budget. Because since I'm putting out so much extra content, I make more in AdSense, I make more in affiliate sales, all that kind of stuff. And that's what pays for Christmas. So that's why I work like a complete nutter. And Chris actually takes time off, which thank you to the unpaid intern.
Just gonna wave my hand.
Yeah, just like
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 queen.
the royal hand wave. I think it was like this.
Swish, swish.
Swish, swish.
Arm.
What was that from?
God, I can't remember.
We used to joke about that for the longest time.
Yeah.
What was that from? Swish, swish, arm. Anyway, because, yes, I'll get to that. Hanging with Hero, because Chris, his real job, his corporate job, he has vacation time. It's another thing I don't get as a self-employed individual. There's no vacation time. There's no sick days. There's no pension. There's no nothing. There's nothing other than me pumping out content. But he saves up some of his vacation time and actually takes a chunk of time off to help.
Yep.
Because I am in here like 16 hours a day, like a crazy person, but it's worth it. And I do enjoy it. If I absolutely like, blah, but I work well under pressure for whatever stupid reason. Some of it's the ADHD. But anyway, yes. So with Stamptember, Heidi's going to be on Hanging with Hero on Wednesday. Aaron Leventhal, the owner of Hero Arts. It is their 50-year anniversary. 50? Yeah. I think Hero Arts, because Aaron Leventhal, the owner, his mother started Hero Arts 50 years ago. And every week, or mostly every week for the last 2 or 3 months, I forget when they started doing this, they've been doing lives on Wednesday evenings. And they've been doing like interviews and sit downs with like Tim Holtz and Gina Kay and the owners of Altenew, et cetera, et cetera. And it's been fascinating. Like you get a little insight into these people and their brands and how they got here, how they got into card making, et cetera. And on Wednesday, they're doing one with Heidi, the owner of Simon Says Stamp. I assume this is a little strategic and that she will hopefully maybe give us a bit of info. I will be tuned in. We'll see. So yeah, that'll be on the Hero Arts channel, and the Hero Arts puts it on their Facebook as well. And it'll also just be fascinating. It's always interesting to learn how people got into it and all the little stories and things. And she will also, Heidi, the owner, will also be doing lives throughout Stamptember. So yeah, just stay tuned is all I can say. I will share more info as I know things. I always post about it on my community page here on YouTube. That's what I did last year. I was posting on my community page on YouTube and my Facebook page, especially my Facebook page, which is linked below the video. I was posting every time there was a new collab release, any little bit of info, I share it, etc. So once I know more, or once I'm allowed to share more, because I know a couple little things, but I can't say nothing. And yes, the package last year, it got lost. I ended up getting it late. Finally, it actually showed up. That was an absolute stressful situation. I have it this year. It did show up. That's all I can say. Can't say anything else. Can't show you nothing. Can't say nothing. My lips are just... I have a lot of work to do. So yeah. How much time in advance do you get the supplies to create the cards for September? Not much. About a week. A little over a week. That's all I've got. I don't have much runway, and honestly, it kind of doesn't matter how much runway I have because I have other work and commitments I need to deal with. So like I said, from now until October, really until the end of the year, I'm working like a crazy person, just pumping out that content. This is what I do. And then, yeah, 50 years for Hero Arts, yes. And you need to talk with your boss. I know, right? Yeah, it sucks when the boss is me. I wish the boss had more. Like, I wish I was an actual CEO with a CEO salary, so I could be like, yeah, you get, a few weeks of vacation time and sick days, and here you go. I mean, I can say it. I don't get paid. But yes, one last thing to stress. The package is here this year. It showed up, which, good. Thankfully. thankfully. So should be good to go. I will have a couple videos going up. They'll go up on the Simon Says Stamp YouTube channel. I put them on mine as well for a couple of the collabs. And yeah, I did up my graphic already because like those that have been paying attention, my little like thumbnails on YouTube, you know, for my videos. I did one specifically for the Stamptember collab, so it'll say like Stamptember, it's trademarked, 2024, so that people will be able to tell, hopefully at a glance, that like that video is a Stamptember video. I try to keep things as organized as possible, all the disclaimers, all the things, because while this is a very fun time and it's all about inspiration, it does bring some of the most ridiculous drama out of the woodworks. Just, you can't please everyone. You can't. I can't please everyone. The brands can't please everyone. And I don't know, Stamptember more than anything seems to draw out some of the most craziness, is the easiest way to phrase it. So just a reminder, this is all just fun. It is paper, it's stamps and wafer dyes, and it's fun, really. It should be fun, and it's not the end of the world. It is very difficult to predict when it comes to limited edition exclusive things. I'm not going to get into the logistics of behind the scenes, and again, I'm speaking for myself. Like, I don't do this. I know how these businesses work. I know how a lot of this works. To get things manufactured in a very tight turnaround and to predict and all the things is something I'm glad that I don't have to do. This is why I don't run my own business in that sense. Like, I just do what I do. That's why I don't have a product line or that sort of thing, because I don't want to do that. For me, that's not fun. Doesn't mean I don't have ideas. I used to have my own little stamp line with another brand many years ago. We retired it many years ago, and I've been content with that. And yeah, it's very hard to predict. I couldn't do it. It's funny, some of the sets that I'm just like, oh, this is cute, like whatever, don't really think anything of it, and it sells out in like 5 minutes. Sometimes it's nuts. So it just is what it is, and I'm only addressing it because I do get hit with a lot of it. Like, I get some of the most insane emails at times, messages, comments, whatever. And it just, when it comes to specifically Stamptember, I don't respond to them. I don't. One, I don't have time. Two, I don't need to deal with it just gets nuts. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It just is what it is. It is what it is. And again, it's just card making, man. Yeah, it just, sometimes it gets like kind of vile. Some of the things, like how upset people get because something sold out really quickly, like completely unpredictable. And you know, a certain set will sell out just unbelievably quickly, you know? And every once in a while, it just seems to trigger certain people and they just turn rabid. And whoo boy, that kind of stuff though, I will delete and block when they pop up on mine, or if they have the nerve to email me, I just delete them. I don't deal with it. And yeah, it just is what it is, you know? But yeah, I enjoy the pace. I enjoy the putting out just a stupid level of content. It really is. It's nuts. It is completely nuts. Last year I did like 60 videos during Stamptember. That's nuts. I do not know. And right as of right now, like sitting here right now, I do not know if I'm going to be able to do a video for every single collab. I wasn't able to last year. One, because the package was late. And two, I was creating like a mad person, literally, because I was lucky if I was able to get the video up the minute, you know, product was going live. I think a couple times last year, I couldn't get the video up in time before the items sold out. Like, it was nuts. This year, I'm hoping I can have more done ahead of time, but like I said, I got other things too coming on top of the just stuff I do regularly, because I don't do just the Stamptember stuff. You know, I do regular videos using regular product that is available, that will be restocked like I always do, along with I have work commitments, things I've said yes to, other releases with other brands, because, you know, I work with Waffle Flower and Pretty Pink Posh and Honeybee Stamps and Altenew, and they all have their regular releases as well. So I will have videos like I always do with their stuff, and there's some cute stuff coming down, some really great products, all the things. Again, I can't say anything. You'll see. No, not rabbit. Rabid. Like rabid, you know? The just when people go insane. Rabid with a D. Um, but yeah, it's all a good time. We're gonna have um eat ice cream to de-stress. I do. I do sometimes. Actually, Chris and I had ice cream last night, and we have to get more. That's why he needs to do a Costco run tomorrow. But yeah, that's kind of it on Stamptember. Just stay tuned. It is. It is. It's a lot of fun. And oh, that's what I was getting to before I got distracted again. Not only are there the limited edition exclusive sets, there are usually, and again, I'm just speaking to years past. I legit don't know what the plan is for this year. But in previous years, there was also some like limited edition kits that were released. Those are super fun. I don't know if that's happening this year, but in the past there was a couple of limited edition like Halloween kits, which were love. There was, I think, a limited edition Christmas kit. There was a limited edition Stamptember kit, which is usually birthday themed. But again, I'm just speaking about what's happened in the previous years. Don't know what's going to happen this year. I don't get told all the things, and even if I did, I couldn't tell you anyway. So there's like those sorts of things, and who knows? Like I said, you guys will just have to wait and see, and I will give everyone, as soon as I know info and I'm allowed to say things, I'll say them, and we'll see what happens. I'm not trying to be a tease. I can't. I literally can't, and I literally don't know. It'd be different. Like there's only a couple things I know. I know what the exclusives are, or like the limited edition. I know that, and that's like it right now. That's all I know. But yeah, I have fun with it, and I just want everyone else to just have fun and um enjoy the free content. And I'm not the only maker, you know, obviously, that makes content specifically with Stamptember exclusives. There are many, many. Not just YouTubers either. Like there ends up being so much inspiration and so much put out there. It's fun. It's fun. I very much enjoy. That's, I think, my favorite part is when I do all the things and I make my video and I get it out there, and then I see what everyone else did with the exact same stamp set. And it's like so many different variations, you know, and it's like, how did that person come up with this idea or this color combo or whatever? It's fun. I love it. I love it because we don't see what anyone else makes because we're all working like crazy people behind the scenes. So yeah, 15 years of Stamptember. This is year 15, which is kind of nuts. So it's going to be fun, and we'll see. And I will have more content coming. I might have another video coming this evening. Like I said, we'll see. But I will pretty much be having, starting now, like daily videos, if not multiple videos a day for the next foreseeable future is the plan. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate those of you that tune in, that watch the videos, that thumbs up and comment. And yeah, it's going to be. Could I add magnets under my non-magnetic stamping platform and it might work? It might. You could try it. And yeah, that's what I loved about last year. The inspiration was wonderful. So many talented people out there. Yes, there's so many. Like, that's why I love this whole, like, and I talk about this and I'll keep beating that dead horse. It's what I love about card making. I do think card making, regardless, even though there's a few trolls out there or just miserable people, that get triggered by a sold out stamp set or whatever, they're few and far between. They like to get really noisy at times, but they're few and far between. Card making, I think, is one of the best hobbies and has the best people. And then on top of it, there are just some unbelievably talented people out there. Whether they do YouTube videos or they just post their images, on Instagram or on their blog. Some that do the little short reels, which I don't do because I'm old and that format just melts my brain and I don't like it. But there are so many talented makers out there, and it fascinates me, when especially when I'm working with people that we're working with the same things, like we're on the same release or whatever, so we're using the exact same thing, and then I see what they decided to do with it, and it's just like, what? Damn, man. It's like, how did you come up with that? I love it. So it's a good time. It's a good time. And Stamptember is just complete and total chaos in a good way. And a lot of people, not just us makers, but like the employees at Simon Says Stamp, the amount of work that goes in behind the scenes, just incredible levels of work between all the people that work there that are shipping out, like picking and shipping orders, the people that are designing the sets, the people, like there are so many levels of people working together and like coordinating with all the different brands. Like it's an insane amount of work. And it just creates the biggest month-long party, and it's super, super fun. So highly recommend checking out the Hero Arts Hanging with Hero Live. That'll be Wednesday evening. It'll be at Hero Arts has already announced it, so it's on their, I think, YouTube and their Facebook. And yeah, highly recommend. Check out the older ones too if you haven't watched them. I still have several I need to catch up on. I am so far behind on other people's videos, it's not even funny. But highly recommend that one because yes, they'll be sitting down with Heidi Crowell, the owner of Simon Says Stamp. So they will, I'm sure, be discussing Stamptember. That just makes sense. And yeah, I appreciate you guys for tuning in and for all of it. Just whether you're watching live or watching on the replay or the ones that just watch my videos, the thumbs upping and the commenting, it does help. It's the stupid algorithms and the robot overlords that I have to deal with all the time. And it's so fun because, same thing, being self-employed in this way and just doing what I got to do. And yeah, I don't get vacation time. I don't get sick days. I don't have a pension, none of it. And then on top of it, I'm constantly dealing with like tech issues, tech gremlins, whatever. And then the algorithms. The algorithms are just annoying, to say the least. And this, as soon as you think you've kind of figured them out, and things that work, they tweak them. So the whole like thumbs upping and commenting thing, really, it just helps with the stupid algorithms. That's it. I appreciate it, but it helps with the algorithms. So anyway, I appreciate you guys. My cards are done. I will do the photos and the editing of the blog post, all the stuff, post on socials, etc. Like I always do. I'll get that done right away. Get all that done, and then I will hopefully mail these out this week along with last week's live and the one before. And then just stay tuned. Because I have some ideas percolating and specifically related around like Stamptember stuff, but we'll just see. I got too many things going on. I got too many things going on. I have a stack of sticky notes of reminders. We'll just see. It's gonna be fun. And as of right now, I'm still planning on doing my Sunday lives. I did it last year throughout Stamptember. I do plan on doing them, but if anything changes for, because I have too much on my plate or whatever, I'll give everyone a heads up as much as I can. But I do plan on still doing the Sunday lives through Stamptember. even though the next one is on the 1st and I got a lot to do. But that's the plan, and we'll just see what happens over the next week, because that's it. We got a week left. So I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you all later. Thank you so much to my amazing Patreon supporters. For anyone that might be interested in supporting me over on Patreon, the link to that is in the description box below the video. For everyone else, as always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you. And here's a couple other videos for you to check out in case you missed them. Bye!